And we are live. Everyone's like, "Rah, kids, what was that? Are you nuts?" I'm like, well, you know what I mean? I've got these things in my locker. Already 35 people watching. They must have heard about the new intro and the new banners.
Crackling. Can you hear it clearly?
I can hear it.
Oh, it's clear now. Yeah.
All right, yeah. That might have been me. All right. Welcome to the Transfer Exchange Show. All right. Throwing me off there. My intro has thrown me off. I'm not used to it. All right. Nice. We're down 2 men, but one's coming in later to work his magic. It's the voice. He's going to be on later on. But right now we've got Steve K in the building. First of all, how you doing, Steve?
How you doing, Kieron? All right, Nathan. Hello, everybody out there.
And of course, we've got our regular Nathan Ellington. How you doing, Nathan?
Feel great.
Do you know what? I love that smile. I love that you're happy, but it's got an air of smugness to it. I don't know what it is, but you're happy. You're happy. All right. Since we're 2 men down today, we will be doing the fire round, but we're going to start off. Yeah, we've had 2 games so far this week. Yeah, I'm going to start off with the 4-1 victory in Europe. Like, what was the difference in that game to the last time you played them, Nathan?
Alli, upstairs now, please. Right. The difference. The difference in last game, we had intention to go and make things happen. We had that extra man in attack. Yeah. And obviously, we had that, obviously, the guy who can actually make things tick, the bridge between the defense, midfield, and attack. That's KDB. Wrong time. VDB. Yeah, so it's VDB. So with him in the side, that's my name for him now. It's VDB. We've got
that's it. VDB. That's your new one, yeah. I like it. All right.
With him in there, it made all the difference because you not just got the help. Obviously, he can do his defensive side and his attacking, but his attacking side and that bridge between sliding the balls through the line to then free the other players. Because what we was doing before was we had McTominay and Fred who were more defensive. So Fred obviously gets it, he gives it. But then you obviously need the McTominay to actually then see between the lines and then find the others. But that's not what we were doing. We ended up passing it along the back too much and then losing possession, and then the other teams obviously causing pressure. So now what you noticed is the ball went into Fred, went into Van der Beek, and then he put it through the lines, and then everyone was already pressing. So then it gave us extra men. When we went on the attack, we actually had an overload, and that's what made us be able to do well in the attack. And that's what we were missing, because they always had the extra men in defense, and then we had the less people in attack. So it just kind of cancelled each other out before. This time, total intent to go and make things happen. And obviously, Cavani up top showing his world-class ability. And then with obviously Martial from the left, you know what he's like when he picks up that ball at his feet. He knows he's going to get at him, and that's what he did, cause trouble. And I actually rather Rashford played on the right side anyway, because it's more like when he gets up there, he can use his right foot to shoot across goal. When he gets up there, he can cross a ball in. So he kind of can it's just like a wide side forward, a striker. And it's more, I think it's more suited to him, to be fair.
So there's a little bit more structure maybe with the introduction of Donny van der Beek in the team. He adds that himself. Is that something you think is going to be going forward? Do you think they're going to keep that going, or do you think it's going to change?
They have to. Here's the thing. I think now, from what I've just seen in the last 2 games, we've done 2 things there. But Van der Beek's been involved in both of them, and it's been a major catalyst for the difference in the games. We bossed that game in the week, and we also bossed that game today. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But the reason why is because he is there. Because Van der Beek is in there, causing us to be able to keep the ball when things get hard, when teams try and get tight on us. He can keep the ball under pressure.
He's
Bruno
a conductor.
can already do that. Yeah?
He's like a conductor of an orchestra.
Exactly.
And you need that.
And then you got Matic, who can then play now because we've got him in there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the difference. Once he's there and Fred is there, I think he's a major catalyst as well. Because if you don't have the legs around Matic or McTominay, you're struggling. So Fred needs to be in there for that mobility. But then to have, obviously, like I said, VDB in there as well. Now you've got the mobility to help the defensive midfielder. And then you've also got the player who's going to play it through the lines for the others to go and attack. So that's what I really think he has to move forward with that. And I think you'll definitely see just the change in McTominay or Matic. McTominay and Matic in the midfield. They're the only two that I think should chop and change now. I think Fred, VDB and Bruno, they've got cemented positions. Obviously, if Pogba comes back fit, then you can chop and change between Bruno and Pogba. I don't think I want Pogba being the guy having to get back and do more work there. I like to see a switch in there. Obviously, you can see the interchangeable too. You've got Matic and McTominay who can interchange, and you've got Bruno and Pogba who can interchange. Then you've got all the front three who you can interchange, and we're looking a lot better and a lot more structured, a lot more balanced, should I say. Tellez as well, making a massive difference.
Yeah, and just that attacking threat from getting forward, it makes the other team think as well. Yeah. So you seem to have found a bit more balance in Europe, and you got your redemption there. And then today, it must have been a bit of a worry going 2-0 down straight away, and then they pulled it back. It's like the old school Man United.
Yeah, but to be fair, you know what? This is a game where in the game we went 2-0 down, and I said to myself inside, I'm not even angry. We're playing well. We're bossing this team. We should be up right now. Okay, we missed a few chances, but we should be up and we're bossing them. Normally, before that game, I was thinking, what's going to happen? Are they going to be in control again like they were and pressure us and take the ball? No. They just scored against the run of play. Then they had a free kick, which was a great free kick. Nothing you can do about that. But I still thought we had chances. And we still had more chances straight after that in the first half. And I was thinking, we've got to just get a goal back before halftime. And then we're still in this, for sure. And then obviously halftime comes, Cavani comes on, and I just know he is anticipating every single thing that comes in that box. He anticipates. He don't react. He don't wait for it to hit a defender or keeper to parry it, then move. He's moving like Bruno was going to pass the ball to him. That shot, he expected it to be a pass or a missed kick that's going to find his head. That's why he's on the end of it, gets us a goal back. And then as you can see, we continue to boss the game. And we managed to win. And I could see it. With the last few minutes going, I was like, we can win this. We can win this. And then we get that chance and we get the win. So it was something where I felt so great about the game because we bossed the game. We went 2-0 down and we still played the right football and we won. Yeah. So that I'm just really, really happy with exactly what we've done over the last few games, to be fair now. But the last two have just shown me now that there's light moving forward.
There certainly is, and the introduction of, the buying of Cavani had quite a few people thinking, is this just cover because they didn't get the big name in Sancho? Is this a desperate buy? But Man United, they always wanted that centre forward role. That they got Igalo in last season because they didn't have that focal point. They didn't have that second option, and they got in Cavani. And it seems like it's going to be an astute signing.
Definitely is. The way I saw it was, I know he was a good player. I've seen him for years and years thinking, I wish we get a player like that in. But, the minute he comes, okay, he's a bit older, but you know that you don't lose your finishing and you don't lose your heading ability and you don't lose your understanding of where to be. So I knew straight away that was a good signing, especially if Bruno, KDB and all these other guys are now going to provide that help. You've got Tellez there now. So now you're seeing balls coming in. And you've actually Wan-Bissaka crossed the ball in for the other goal as well. So he's been doing, obviously he's been improving with his crossing and getting, but now if he does get up there and cross it, he's got someone on the end of it who actually knows how to really put a ball away with his head. And he's one of the best, if not, he's probably up there with Lewandowski as the best headers out there right now. As strikers who can head the ball in from anywhere in the box. So I'm just happy we've got him. And I'm just happy we've got the options of the different players up front as well for different games, different courses for different courses, as you know.
There we go. All right. That's your roundup for the week of the Man United. And now it's time for the question time. All right.
Oh, right.
Yeah, don't worry. It's coming. Steve, I'm going to allow you to go first with your first question. Let me get the timer up. Hold on.
How many questions you got? So what is it? A few each?
Yeah. Give us a couple each. We'll give you a couple each. Whoa. Steve wants the whole show.
It's quite a few I'd like to ask Nathan, but yeah, we'd have to save them for next week. But,
all right. Steve, go answer your question.
Yeah, great win, Nathan, in the week. 4-1 against Istanbul, Besiktas. But you got PSG coming up. Do you play the same team, or do you play a different one? And if so, for whatever reason, give your reason.
Right. So when you look at the Man United side, we know we're vulnerable at the back for pace. Okay, so we know that we can't be trying to play with Maguire and Lindelof against Mbappe and co. You know, Neymar, Mbappe, and whoever else is playing. You know, Di Maria. That's a lot of pace. So we've got to be able to figure out a way to nullify that. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows that he can't go gung ho. We played against Istanbul, and they had a fair share of chances, even though, you know, we that's the type of football we played. We went the more attacking way, and they looked like they could have scored quite a few goals. It could have been anything on the day. It could have been 4-4. So, end of the day, I don't see him doing that. I see him starting with a more defensive team, just like today. We went Southampton knowing that they are a good side. They've been doing really well, and we've got to really, nullify their game and then play our game. Same thing's going to happen in the week. He's going to nullify their game by probably staying with that same kind of setup. It might be McTominay instead of Matic. He's probably thought about it today, thinking, you know what? I'll play Matic now. He can't play again in the week, so let me put McTominay in now, and then have Van der Beek, McTominay, and Fred. He's gonna need to play two defensive, and then you're gonna have to have them boys again. So someone's gonna probably have to sit out up front. But we did play the 5 before, didn't we? So we got our result. So he's gonna need to think about nullifying that. If he tries to go toe to toe, I'm afraid Mbappe might have a field day, especially with until we get a defender who's comfortable playing one-on-one and is comfortable with pace, or we play a defender that's got that, or Bailly gets fit and starts playing. We cannot be playing that kind of football, expansive against pace.
All right. He's too clean cut on these now. He knows. He don't even look at the clock. It's like a clock in his head. All right. My turn. Reports recently came out that Director of Football Mark Overmars and Chief Executive Edwin van der Sar are looking for new challenges. They've both been linked to Manchester United, and more recently, Everton's Marcel Brands, as a Director of Football, has been linked to Man United. As a fan, do you think that Man United would be better off getting a new Chief Executive and Director of Football in Edwin van der Sar and Overmars? Or do you think it should be just a Director of Football coming in to take the role in that vacant spot?
To be fair, when it comes to like the chief exec side of things, I'm not really too involved with that. So I don't know what their role is. I heard a lot of people speaking about getting a new this and a new that. But I think, United, we've brought in a lot of different managers. We've spent a lot of money. So we've given a lot to try and get success again. Now, it hasn't worked out. I'm not going to blame the board for doing that. I think they've given a fair share of money, and I respect that. The other side is we do need someone up there like the Van der Sars, the Overmars. I think Van der Sar, obviously, from what he's done at Ajax, you're going to look at it and go, man, if we can bring through talent like that and have a long-term plan of getting lots of players coming through the door, it's basically cleaning up what's already been done now. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has already started that from when he came in. He knows it's like he's trying to do the whole thing Fergie done on his own, like we were saying before. He's also thinking about the future, bringing in these young guns that no one really knows about, and they're not ready yet. But I'm hearing we also got a player from I think it was Sunderland or something like that. A striker we brought in.
Joe Hugel.
Really good player, I think so. Really good
Yeah.
player, supposed to be, someone to really look out for. It's another player no one really heard of, playing under 23s at the moment. He's probably 18 or something like that, or 17. So they're the kind of players, Diallo, who I'm really excited about seeing, and even Palestri. Let's see how he gets on as well, because he looks like he's a good dribbler. They're bringing in the kind of players like that. So to have Van der Sar come in there and to try and replicate what we already know he can do now, it'll be a great addition to the whole structure of the whole United, what we're looking forward moving forward. Because as you say, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I think the less he has to deal with, the better. And if he, like I said, he's starting to get everything in place now. So yeah, I'll be happy with that.
Yeah.
All right. Nice answer. Steve, go on, and then it's my last one.
With what Ollie's starting to get now, he's starting to become he's going to have selection problems, which, is going to be a good thing. But Martial, we all know his best position is playing on the left. But does he have to play to get Cavani in the side, or does Cavani play anyway? Or is it the other way around?
Yeah, to be fair, I think each game as it is, when United played back in the day when Solskjaer was there, you had the mix. You had Sheringham, you had Solskjaer, you had Cole, you had York. You had all them players, and they all played pretty much all the time. If you think about it, they played every week. All of them. They just played. You had 2 playing on a Saturday, 2 playing in the week, and then you had other European games. So they were always getting regular football. I just think you're going to have to do that again. Solskjaer will probably do exact same thing with all these players that we've got. We've got like pretty much 2 players for each slot, each spot. So he's going to pick and choose which games that they need to play in, which games they need to rest in. And it's going to even itself out with the injuries that you have and everything. So I have no worries about Martial. He can play any of those 3 positions up front, and so can all of them. Pretty much Cavani even played from the right when he even set up the goal from the right today for Bruno. So he's done that for PSG in the past, on the left and the right and the middle. So with every single one of the players we got, I've not got no worries. Whoever's the hottest at the time and whoever suits the kind of the team we're playing against, then he's going to go and choose that right team. So, everyone's going to get their moments and their time. And whoever's on fire, they'll probably get a little bit more game time than the other as well. And it's just going to swing in roundabouts. This, at the moment in time, for example, you've got Pogba, who's out injured. Nobody's thinking about him. People just forgot how good he is. I know how good he is. I remember how good he is. And I know when he's fully fit, he can easily be interchangeable with like a Bruno. So, and you've got, like I said, you've got so many other players. It'll be the same for them too. So, to be fair, with that being said, I think Martial, he looks amazing from the left when he picks it up and runs at people. And if he doesn't have to do that as much work defensively, he's going to be great there anyway. If Cavani's injured or he's just played on a Saturday, can't play in the week, throw Martial up front, Rashford up front, Greenwood, it doesn't matter.
All right.
Just a yes or no answer. Do you think you've got the team now who would be happy to with players to sit on the bench, like your Pogbas, like your Martials? Do you think you can get a team together, a happy team?
I think they're happy. I think that they're happy now. I think we've got a strong squad now. Last year, we played our first team and we had no one that can come on the pitch to really continue the dominance that we would have in a game, for example. Now, you can pretty much put on any one of the subs, and the drop-off's not going to be anything, or it's going to be very little. So I'm really happy. And I'm sure they're happy that they've got players to help, because they know it's a long season. They know there's injuries, and it has to be done that way.
Not good.
Yes.
All right. Steve's cramming in extra questions. Not sticking to the rules, but it's all right. Final one. United have been accused by a section of the fans to have treated some of the players who are kind of surplus to requirements not in the best way. People like Chris Smalling most recently, Sergio Romero, the goalkeeper, who is now looks like he's agreed to move on for a lesser fee. Do you think this is a fair argument that the players haven't been treated right, or do you think it's a case of they've signed the contract, so they just have to deal with it.
It's not fair. Simple as that. But this is a cutthroat industry. Like, the minute you are not able to do what they want you to do, you're gone anyway. This is the same the other way around. The minute you've got power, you get your new contract, because that's what happens in football. When you've got the power, you obviously try and use it as much as you can. When they've got the power, they'll use it as much as they can. It's gone. I don't know if there was days where you had a player who's really done well. Sometimes you get a manager, I guess, who looks after a player after they've done a great service to them, maybe give them another year when maybe they would have normally sent them away. But seriously, Romero, I'm looking at it thinking that's not fair, because he's been like, everyone calling him the second, the best second keeper in the world. And then you've got Smalling, who I think is better than the two we've got at the back now, overall. Obviously, you look at, certain different things, like winning the ball in the air. I think Maguire's the best at that. And then, but when it comes to overall, pace-wise, positioning-wise, I think Smalling, he was great. When he played week in, week out, he was really good, I didn't see anyone troubling him for pace, and I just thought he was really sound. And, I just think it is unfair again to get rid of him in that way. But again, once you've made your decision, you move forward in a direction, that's what they're going to stick with now. So even though probably many people think Smalling's better than what we've got, they don't. And they're just going to move forward with that. And unfortunately, like I said, you've got to just move on and find another team and make it fit there. Football is a cutthroat industry, and that's just the way it is. So they got to deal with it. They got a contract. They're getting paid. So I know it's not as easy as that. You have emotions. You're a human being. But these things happen.
All right. Thank you very much, Nathan. Done it again. Good answers. Very good answers. And do you know what? I've had quite a few people on that last one ask me that personally. And so it's good to get your view on it. It's good to get your view on it. It's good to get your take on it. All right, thank you for that. It's United Talk is done for this week, but we have another guest in. It's our very good friend, Roshane Thomas from The Athletic. How you doing, Roshane?
I'm all good. How's it going, guys?
I'm good. How's
it going, Nathan? You good?
All right, Nate. All right, Roshane. You all right, mate?
Yeah, I should say Sir Nathan out of respect,
I can't hear properly, actually. It's clear now. Go on.
Can you hear me now? My volume down?
No, I can hear you.
Well?
I can hear.
It must be my internet.
Oh, no. Can you hear me, Nathan?
Yeah, it's clear. It's just gone clear again. It was really crackling.
All right. Roshane was just bigging you up there.
Oh, sorry. Say that again, please.
Yeah, I'll say that.
Hold on. Give me a second.
Nathan, out of respect.
Oh, respect to you too, bro.
All right. How you doing, Roshane?
Yeah, I'm all good. Feeling good. Things are positive right now for West Ham, so happy days.
I was gonna say. I remember the last time you was on. It wasn't sort of down and out, but it was more like a feeling of consolidation, stabilizing things. Yeah. Now it seems like things are looking up.
Yeah, things have been very promising. I mean, when Diagana was sold, everyone was like, "Oh no, chaos again! What on earth is going to happen at West Ham this season? What could possibly be involved in the relegation fight?" And Moyes definitely turned it around. I'm not sure if I came on after that game, but for me, the turning point was that defeat at Arsenal. I feel like that was turning point. Played really well against Arsenal, lucky not to come away with a draw. And I feel like since that game, the momentum has been crazy for West Ham, playing really good. So pre-season, everyone was like, "Oh, let's see if they can stay up." Now it's like, can they challenge for like a top 6 or top 8 finish? And that's all done.
Right. All right, don't get your hopes up too much. You know what I mean? Because if it don't happen, and I know you West Ham fans are like, you'll be going for David Moyes if it doesn't happen, because he's getting expectations too high.
What? For work, right? We all had to give our predictions for where we reckon the team we cover would finish, and I said somewhere between 10th and 12th would be, realistic for West Ham, and I still think that would be a good finish.
Yeah, it would be a good finish because I mean, if you look at the teams above that, it's this league's so hard. This league is so hard. As an Arsenal fan, I get asked, "Do you think you should be getting points of this?" And yeah, you do because you're Arsenal. But when you look at the teams that they're talking about now, I mean, we just lost 3-0 to Aston Villa, who took points off of Liverpool and scored 6 past Liverpool. It's madness. The Premier League there's no easy games. I mean, there's a couple, but they're not coming around very often, not often enough.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's crazy, but that's why we love it. That's why we tune in week out to find out what's going to happen. The drama. Yesterday, for example, I thought Everton would easily like steamroll Leeds United, and boy, I was wrong. They beat them again, so that's why we love it. And hopefully, tomorrow will be another good result for West Ham.
Yeah. So we'll get on to tomorrow. Aston Villa. It's going to be a tough game. They're a team in wicked form. West Ham are in good form. Only a point off each other. How do you think the game's going to go?
Yeah, it'll be a tough game. I think both teams are similar in terms of their aspirations. You know, both teams stayed up last season. Both teams recruited well. Aston Villa signing Ollie Watkins and other good players. And obviously, both before end of last season, but West Ham signing Souček and Bowen. So both teams looking to push up and do well. And I reckon it'll be similar to the Sheffield United game, and the fact that it'll be a hard fought match and perhaps one goal will do it in the end. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Only one bit of doubt is that it's unlikely Mikel Antonio will start. In the press conference of Moyes, he's pretty much saying it's going to be touch and go. So if he is fit, it's likely he'll be in the bench and Sebastian Haller will start. But yeah, looking forward to it, and I reckon it'll be a good match, but a hard fought one again.
Yeah. Is Benrahma fit? Because I just can't wait to see this boy on the pitch. Like, I know he's been on a few times, but not he's not started yet.
Yeah, no, Benrahma is fit, and he actually provided the assist for Souček for that goal against Fulham. It's just the thing with Moyes, whenever he signs a player from the Championship, he's a bit reluctant to put them in straight away. Yeah. So when Bowen joined West Ham, again, he was initially reluctant to put him in straight away, waited a month or so, and then Bowen got a chance, and as they say, the rest is history. So I think that will apply to Benrahma. Listen, he'll get his chance. We all know Benrahma is good doing quality nutmegs, like making the defending look foolish in these streets. So you're going to get a chance eventually, but
can't wait.
Time a bit more and be patient and then get to know the system a bit better, life in the Premier League, and eventually you'll get a chance.
Yeah. What do you put down the form to with under Moyes? Do you think it's the getting used to his style of play, or would you put it down to a formation change?
I'll put it down to two things. I feel like lockdown is probably the best thing I could ever have to West Ham. Listen, we all know it was terrible in terms of what happened, people living their lives, but in terms of just purely based on football, it allowed West Ham to have more time to work and stuff. Bear in mind, Moyes was appointed around, call it January really. It was late December, but January time, and then lockdown took place around March, April. So he's been in the job for about 3 months. But during lockdown, he had time to work on the players, let them know what he wants from them. During lockdown, they're doing like double training sessions. So he was working the players hard. He was working them hard big time. So I'll put that down to lockdown and also down to change of formation. So I mentioned Arsenal game was a turning point. In that match, Moyes played 4-5-1, 3-4, depending on the interpretation of it. But that, oh my goodness, that definitely seen the people like Masuaku do well. Listen, I thought Masuaku was finished. I was like, this guy's a liability. Why on earth he's still at West Ham? Like, his days are over here, really. And I'm on a diet right now, but I've eaten humble pie all season when it comes to
But that's what you want. Yeah. That's what you want as a fan.
You know what? You want that, and it's all down to good coaching. Because we see managers, they think, I'm a service player, bring your risk player, and hopefully they do well. But for a manager like Moyes to have faith in someone like Masuaku, you know what, I could turn him into a good player. Someone like Fabian Balbuena, you know what, I could turn him into a good player as well. Someone like Cresswell, who's a good player, but he struggled last season. He's like, you know what, he could play in a defensive three on the left side, and he will do well. And now people are talking about Cresswell potentially being involved in the England squad. So it's all down to Moyes, his coaching.
This is what I was going to say. This is what I was going to say. When you're getting players in the squad being sort of talked about on the cusp of the England squad, I mean, it's only a good thing. It means that the squad's doing right. It means the players doing right. It means something going good at West Ham. So they're in a good place at the moment, man.
Yeah, it's really positive. And I've been covering West Ham for the Athletic for about 16 months now. And in the first season, it was enjoyable, but it was just so negative in terms of the results not going well, Pellegrini getting sacked. It was like, oh my goodness. And now things are going well. It's like, well, this is an experience. I'm not used to this. Going into a match and feeling confident that West Ham can win, and it's a good feeling because that sort of confidence spreads out on players. Listen, Nathan, we have you here. You know, you're a previous footballer. You know what it's like. We have a good bit of momentum. Everyone's looking forward to go to training ground. Everyone's happy. That translates onto the pitch, and we're seeing that on the Moist this season. So, my question to you: what surprised you most about West Ham, just from an ex-footballer sort of perspective?
No, just the fact that Moyes obviously his last few times as the manager he's not done so well, and then for your manager to leave and then for him to come in, I didn't know whether it was the right fit at the time, so I was thinking, oh, let's see how it goes, and then to see obviously the football that they're playing now, and then just bringing in the right players, and sometimes you just like it's like he might just do well with these kind of like the teams that normally sit middle of the table, and then like make them overachieve. Well, I mean, I don't mean like overachieving. 6 would be pretty much overachieving what you expect them to be, maybe mid-table, but then they get 6. You're like, wow, that's a great season. So I think that's what when he's under the radar, that's something that he might be work best under. So for me, that's the way I'm looking at it now, thinking, okay, he surprised me that he's obviously making his teams really do well, and he's doing his homework. And he's making it happen. So to be fair, that's it's like like the Jose thing before, where everyone used to say he looks at the teams, looks at nullifying the other team, and then try and hit them on the break. That's probably what Moyes does. He looks at nullifying the other team. When I used to speak to Rio every day, he used to say the same thing, but he was like, he's trying to nullify the other team at Man United, if you get what I mean. But you're Man United, he goes, we're Man United. We should be actually trying. We're not thinking about them. We're thinking about ourselves. They got to think about trying to stop us. But when it's a lower team, for example, you got to think in a different way, and that's probably what suits Moyes the best, and that's what surprised a lot of people.
Yeah, most certainly, definitely.
All right, Nathan. It's I'm not. Before anyone asks, I'm not kicking Nathan out. This isn't me saying, Nathan, you've said too much. Roshane's my guest. It's time for you to go.
I got one more question for Nathan.
Go on, go for it.
I know you spoke about Man United, but just I'm intrigued to know. As an ex-striker, right, and obviously an ex-footballer, what would your advice be to someone like a Mason Greenwood, who obviously we all know is talented, but is struggling at the minute right now for confidence? If you were his teammate, what sort of advice would you be giving him?
To be fair, I'd just say, look, you just play your game when you get on the pitch. Don't worry about anything. You know that how good your finishing is and stuff like that. All you need is a run of games and goals will come. So I know he's played a few games this season and he's obviously a bit less goals than he scored last season, but I'm sure it's going to come. Like even today, he hits the ball straight at the keeper. On another day, that's going in the corner and then he's off on a run again. So I know it comes and goes sometimes. And that's what I'll be just telling him. Look, just keep playing your game. No pressure whatsoever when you play. Don't worry. Miss a chance, don't worry, because you know how good you are, and then it will even itself out and you'll get your 20 goals this season, maybe still now even. So that's what I'll be telling him.
This is from the man himself. Scored 24 goals during about 4 or 5 seasons. So you know what I mean. I got to give you a blatant clap 15 years later for that.
Thank you. Not many people remember.
I do, bro.
Yeah, we remember. Don't worry, we remember. I got my mates calling me up saying, "You got Nathan Ellington on, Jason Roberts and Nathan Ellington." On fire, mate. I was like, yeah, I know.
Did you score many against West Ham, Nathan?
Yeah, funny enough, I scored
one of my best goals. Hey, what's this? What are you doing?
To be fair, one of the best goals I've ever scored, a header, when I jumped as high as I've ever jumped, I think, and just like smashed it in the top bins. So it was away at West Ham at the time. I'll get the video up soon.
Yeah, and on that note, thank you very much for joining us today, Nathan. All right, we'll have you next week as well, Nathan. Thank you very much for giving us your time, man.
Take care.
See you later, man.
Cheers, mate.
All right, Steve, I know you're dying to ask Roshane some questions, so jump in, mate.
I just want to ask, how happy he feels at the moment regarding the way what West Ham are doing. I mean, and the way they're beating all the big clubs.
Yeah.
And something that I've noticed, there's a lot I could go about West Ham at the moment, and it'll be good. I mean, they've got a lot of the big teams out the way already. I mean, and there's only a few games been gone.
Yeah.
They've played Arsenal away, Leicester away, Spurs away, Liverpool away. Wolves, Man City at home. I mean, before Christmas, they're going to play Leeds away and Chelsea away as well. I just want to. Where do you think is your expectation there changed?
I'm not going to get carried away because obviously last season it was sort of similar in terms of West Ham start, and then unfortunately Fabianski suffered that injury and Roberto replaced him, and it sort of went downhill from there. But you know, touchwood, there hasn't been any injuries barring Antonio to the other key players, and even that was short term, so it hasn't been too bad. So as long as players can stay fit, obviously I reckon West Ham could do well this season. As I told Kieron, I reckon a 10th or 12th place finish would be good and realistic for West Ham. Anything above that, oh my goodness, I'll be singing Kumba. That'll be amazing. But you know what? Just touching the form, the one person I'm really happy for is David Moyes, because we all know he struggled at Man United. He was considered a disastrous appointment for Sunderland because they suffered relegation. And after that, everyone's like, is this guy even good? Like, he's a bit overrated now. Why is he getting jobs? So for him to sort of reinvent himself and show people that, you know what, I am a good manager, I need to find the right fit, for it to work out so well at West Ham, giving young players a chance, turning Mikel Antonio into a really good goal scorer. Everything is going so well for him right now. And now everyone's like, so obviously when he was initially appointed, people were like, why on earth we appointed David Moyes? Why him? Let's get someone else like Rafa Benitez or another high-profile manager. But a lot of people are like, listen, let's give Moyes a long-term contract. And it got to show, you know, the transformation over the past 12 months.
And that's got us like long term. That's now got a sort of the chairman and the owners upstairs. They've got to be thinking it's Moyes, because that was the problem last time. It was almost as if they used Moyes to get safety, and it was like, oh yeah, you're not really high profile name. You're not really the name that's going to sort of take us forward and bring in players. But it's about where you finish in the league. It's about how you do each week. And one thing that you are getting out of a David Moyes team is, even if you don't get the result, you're getting the performance, and that's got to be something that, as a fan, that's the bare minimum you ask for as a fan, isn't it?
Yeah. So true. Because even in defeat, you're still walking away from the game thinking, you know what, that wasn't too bad. I learned something that I didn't know last week, or again, touching the game against Arsenal or the defeat, but West Ham could have easily drawn that match or even won it. In fact,
should have won it. Yeah.
Yeah, we should have. I'll be nice. We should have won it, to be honest.
Mate, you ain't got to be nice on this show.
Definitely won that game. But yeah, like even the Liverpool match, a hard-fought game, very close in the end. So, and you know what? After the wins against Wolverhampton, Leicester, people are like, "Oh, West Ham will be found out. No, very much will die down eventually." And then big wins in the following weeks. People are like, "Okay, this team's actually not too bad. You know, we're not too bad." So now everyone's starting to pay attention, and it's really good.
Yeah, but there's certain things that it's hard to find out. Look, if you're hardworking and you're disciplined in your positions, and you're now what you're doing is scoring goals, there's not really much to find out. Like it's like Ron saw exactly what you said in the tin. It's there. Yeah. It's like your players aren't hiding it, and that's what's taking you guys forward. Who have you been most impressed by?
Again, it's got to be Masuaku. Honestly, guys, I thought. So obviously, it's the game against Aston Villa tomorrow, right? About a year ago at Villa Park, last September, in fact, it was nil. It finished a goalless draw, but Masuaku was sent off in this match. And West Ham were playing well at the time, and everyone's thinking, "Oh my goodness, this guy's letting the team down again." I mean, it's just not going to work out for Masuaku. He needs to be sold now. And again, a year on, he's one of the first teams on the team sheet. He's doing a great job. And another person who I feel like has a big role to play in that as well, Stuart Pearce. We all know Stuart Pearce returned as first team coach, and I feel like he's worked with Masuaku on the training ground in terms of getting him much better on the defensive end. We all know he's good going forward, but he's been much better defensively as well. And if there was an award for like most improved player, Masuaku would definitely be a front runner for that award.
Yeah, no one wants that award though, Roshane. I'm just gonna let you know, as a footballer, no one wants the most.
They do it in NBA, so you know what I mean.
But no one wants that award. It's like the Clubman Award. It's he turns up every week and he brings in the oranges. Oh, Masuaku. Yeah.
It's true what they says though. It's true what he says about Masuaku. Everybody I spoke to was like, "This geezer's leaving. This geezer's got to go at the beginning of the summer. Who are we going to replace him with?" So big up to him. Really big up to him. He's really turned it around.
One thing you spoke about when you last came on was Declan Rice, and it, for me as an outsider, it seems like he's taking up the Mark Noble role as the club captain overall, because he seems like he speaks more. He's playing more. He's more of a presence in the team. Do you think he's someone that you could potentially keep long term rather than looking at selling? Is he someone that you can keep and build your team as opposed to sell and buy with the money that you've got from him?
I'd love to say yes, but in this era, it's unrealistic to think of Declan Rice staying at the club for like another 5-10 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not going to happen, unfortunately. I reckon he can stay at West Ham until he's about 23.
Mm-hmm.
He's 21 right now, so I reckon 2 more years, and then, Declan Rice can go to a club like Chelsea, Man United, or Man City. But right now, in terms of like Declan Rice's response to the media, he's happy at West Ham. He's doing well, playing week in, week out. I just touched on growing into a great leader, doing a very good job in terms of like leadership on the pitch, which we all know Mark Noble's good at. And one thing I've really been impressed with, usually it's always Mark Noble who's like fronted to the cameras and the media after matches. Now we've seen Declan Rice do it, and he's very, very composed doing it. He's not afraid to speak to the media whatsoever on the pitch. Calling players accountable if they're not doing well, and he's also doing well like in terms of, because under Pellegrini he was good, but he wasn't really making much like driving runs like forward. Wasn't really engaging in attack much, and we've seen it a lot more now. And I feel like the best thing that happened to Declan Rice is the arrival of Souček. I feel like that's the best thing in terms of like him doing so well at West Ham right now, because they're both similar in how they play, both good going forward, both good defensively. And if Rice were to make an offensive run from midfield, he has Souček in midfield to like fall back on if he gets out of position, so to speak. But previously it would have been Noble or Snodgrass or Carlos Sanchez, his partner, and he couldn't do the same. So we're seeing that more confidence from Rice right now. And again, 21, made over 100 Premier League appearances, 13
caps. It's madness that you're saying he's 21. Like 21. It's crazy.
He's this good, right? And he's nowhere near his prime. That is just crazy to think.
He's not even close to it. Like he's still learning the game, but he's got that sort of assurance. He's got that. He knows what he can do, and you feel like he could build more on it. He's very humble as a player as well, and when you've got that, he's you're going to get him working hard. He's got technique, so he can spray the ball as well. That's one thing that people don't take in about Declan Rice. He's got a very expansive range of passing as well. He's a top midfielder.
Yeah, for me, Declan Rice makes you appreciate the simple things in life. Just keep that in mind. You're not going to catch Declan Rice doing some cross turn or step overs. That's not his game. Game to like make interceptions, tackles, do the simple things. And quite often a player like Declan Rice, they're underappreciated because people don't like appreciate that sort of element of the game. They want to see goals, they want to see tricks and whatnot, the Ronaldinho skills and all that sort of stuff. But that's not Declan Rice. And I always say I feel like Declan's the better version of Owen Hargreaves. I feel like he's the much better version of him. And we've seen Declan do so good. And that's why the club are of the opinion, listen, if anyone's coming for him, it's going to cost the Bank of England money to sell him. No, but it's true. That's what he's worth for West Ham. He's just so good. 21 right now. In this market, you're looking at a lot of money to sign someone like Declan Rice. And like Declan Rice, they don't come often, so you got to try and get as much as you can for him.
No, and go on, Steve.
No, it's just that when anybody thinks of West Ham, the first thing they think of is Declan Rice, or apart from pie and mash. The next thing they think of is Declan Rice. But what is Antonio just as important as Declan Rice is to West Ham?
100%, because when you think of someone like Mikel Antonio, he's so unselfish. Mikel Antonio's played left back, centre back, right back, centre left mid. He played everywhere. And he hasn't complained once. Just gets on with the job. But you need team players like that. And we were revealed through the Athletic about a month ago. He wants a 4-year contract, so he wants to retire at West Ham. He's very happy at the club, and I feel like that's something West Ham should make a priority before January. And he's just reliable. Reliable in terms of on the pitch, not so much in terms of his hamstrings, because you all know he suffers the odd hamstring every now and then due to the nature of his performance, how he plays. But definitely the same level in terms of importance of Declan Rice.
So West Ham been linked with a couple of players, Roche, recently. Olivier Giroud being one of them. Josh King again, which hasn't gone away since the summer. Is this going to take you that little step further that West Ham needs? Is this the one position you think is integral for West Ham?
I actually don't think another forward player is the integral piece of the jigsaw, if you were to call it that. I feel like it would be much better to get another central midfielder in, just for a bit of depth. Because if Rice or Suchek were suffering injury, the alternative is Noble, and we all know Noble's good. He's been a great talent for the club, but just doesn't have the legs anymore to keep up and to have the sort of same impact he's had previously. And he's also out of contract in the summer, and we don't know if it'll be his last season. There hasn't been any mention of whether negotiations I can't pronounce it, negotiations have taken place or not. We haven't got a clue. So I feel like it would be much better to bring another central midfielder. And there's one player they've been linked to called Alex Krul. He plays for Spartak Moscow, had the same agent as Vladimir Kofal, and that's one deal that West Ham could look to do in January. So that's one name to monitor over the coming weeks.
Well, don't worry. We'll be speaking to our man over in Russia, Alan Moore. Get him to speak to a couple of agents over there, and we'll see what he's saying. Don't worry, Roshane. We'll make sure you're the first one to know about that. What signing have you been most impressed with? I know we just said earlier that Ben Rama hasn't really had much game time, but what other signings have you been impressed with?
Definitely Vladimir Kofal, the right back. He signed for $5 million. He's been an absolute bargain.
He looked good in the Arsenal game. I think it's the first game I saw him play, and he was very assured going forward.
Yeah, good going forward, good defensively. And we all know previously the first choice was Ryan Fredericks. Good going forward, perhaps not so much defensively. And Kofal's arrived and answered all doubt, really. Provided the perfect solution to that position. Yeah. He's great in the air as well. And we're starting to see, West Ham signing player from Czech Republic. That seems to be a sort of market now in terms of signing players. And again, Alex Shaw, the player I mentioned, in Czech Republic as well. Yeah. So we're starting to find a market there. But yeah, definitely in an era where you see clubs signing players for just crazy money. For West Ham to sign someone like Kofal for $5 million, bargain like that, for him to do so well.
Well, we know that it's not just because you spend big money on a player doesn't mean you're going to get. I mean, you should be getting top quality. It doesn't mean you're getting the best in the world. It doesn't mean if you're spending a short amount of money on a player, it doesn't mean you're getting rubbish. AC Milan just spent $5 million on Jens Petter Haig, who's looking like he's going to be one of the best prospects coming out of Norway, and that's a massive fee in Norway. So it's all relevant. So I don't pay any notice to the fees. Declan Rice, do you think he's deserving of a new contract? Is it about time he got a new contract, or?
Well, his contract expires, I believe, at the end of the 03 or 04 season, if I'm not mistaken. So another 4 years, 3.5 years, if we have to call it that.
I'm just thinking more about money-wise.
Yeah, 100% money. Listen,
that's what I mean.
I'll bring the briefcase right now to Declan Rice's front door for him to find. Definitely more money.
Go fund me.
No, we've got to keep it professional. No. But definitely, he deserves to be in excess of like 100 grand a week. Definitely 120, in fact, if we were to go that high, because 21, the best player at West Ham right now, so important for West Ham moving forward. He's passionate about the club. West Ham's given him a platform to do well when he factor in his release from Chelsea. And another thing about the whole, interest from Chelsea, basically was a centre back, and we know Declan Rice can play there, but he's much better as a midfielder, and Steve will agree with me on this as well. He's one of the best holding midfielders in the country. If you were to go Chelsea and play centre back, in my opinion, that would be a waste.
Yeah. And that's the thing. They are. Maybe it's they want him as a utility player, but I don't think bringing him in as a centre back or utility players is the answer. I mean, as you said, he's plying his trade in midfield at West Ham, and to bring him in and you'd have to pay big money for him, and to then put him at centre back would just be. It seems pointless. It seems a bit of a waste.
Well, I think they've got good news now at West Ham regarding Declan Rice to Chelsea, because I think Chelsea are looking in other areas, aren't they? Especially in January for a centre back. But we'll have to wait and see. But he certainly is what Roshane said there. He's an incredible footballer, and he reminds me of a certain frame of mind of a Tony Adams, where he's just older than his years and he's so mature, and you just don't find that these days, especially in the Premiership. So I can't actually think of someone like him. It's very rare. It'd be great if they can keep him. Maybe not. Maybe Mark Noble can have a word with him, or someone like that, or someone like a Tony Owen, can have a word with him, and you never know, he may stay.
But yeah, look, as you're saying, it's going to be very hard to keep someone like Declan Rice. But I just think we've seen it before where players are highly in demand or highly rated, and it just might not be. If you can keep him out of this window from Chelsea, then that may have passed, and they may get a replacement. They're not interested in Declan Rice anymore. So it's always about timing. And I think if you timed it right with Declan Rice, maybe give him a new contract with a little bit more money and this and that, and then the Chelsea thing passes, and you're building the team and you're moving up in the right direction. There's no reason why he can stay a bit longer.
Yeah, that's true. And as I say, if you were to stay for another 2 years, that would be great for West Ham. To give us 2 more years, and then you know what, the world's your oyster. You can go to a big club. It doesn't have to be Chelsea. It could be a Real Madrid. Could be a Man City. You know, one of those teams. And then just do the best you can, because it's been great for West Ham. Achieved so much such a short space of time. And when I spoke to Tony Carr, former academy director at West Ham, he was saying, like leaving at 23, 24. Once you achieve more at West Ham, and then you know what, you can go, because by then you'll be in your prime by then, in fact, to make great things at big clubs, win trophies, that sort of stuff. Play the Champions League as well. So give it 2 more years.
All right. So you got Aston Villa tomorrow. What are you most worried about Aston Villa tomorrow? What do you think's their biggest danger for West Ham?
I'm not worried about Ollie Watkins really, because I like Ollie. I think he's a really good player. So I'm worried about him in terms of his pace and his penchant for scoring goals, whether it be 2 goals or a hat trick. I feel like that's something the defense should definitely be wary of. And Grealish is just ridiculous.
Yeah, I think everyone underestimated how good Grealish was. I mean, we all see him in the Championship, and you see even last season you saw bits and bobs of him. But I think the second half of the season, and especially after lockdown, I think Grealish has stepped it up a gear. He's got this. He's always had that swag, but he's stepped it up. He stepped it up. He was playing 5-a-side football against Arsenal a couple of weeks ago, standing, drag backs. I was just like, who's this? This ain't Jack Grealish. It's a different level.
I know. I'll have to see if I can try and find him before the kickoff, so I can give him a few Jaeger bombs. You know what I mean? But as you touched on, great skillful player. He's doing well for England right now. And finally, you mentioned Rice as well. 2 players that could play for Northern Ireland. No, not Republic of Ireland, rather.
Republic.
Republic of Ireland. Touching on that. But great players. So we see Ross Barkley, another player they have, but he's out with injury right now. So we have a lot of flair. It's similar to, as I mentioned, similar to West Ham in terms of the attack and threat. Both teams recruited well. So I reckon it'll be a hard-fought game, but I reckon West Ham will prevail in the end. You
can get a result. And what was you saying your expectations for the season now? What would you be happy with as a fan? How far do you think you can go?
Listen, if West Ham were to achieve top 6, top 8, that'll be just sensational. Last season, West Ham, trying to stay up, and now on pushing for Europe. But I think realistically, a 10th or a 12th place finish would be good. And then the team can build on from that. Because one thing about West Ham fans tend to get ahead of ourselves. We should be like, we should be challenged for top 4 right now. It's like, calm down a little bit. We do it gradually.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it, Roshane. Tell me about it.
Fans do it. We're meant to be crazy. We have no rationality. Do you know what I mean? We're not there. That's why we're fans. But I understand what you mean. You've got to keep it on a level. But
gradually, let's say West Ham secure a top 10 finish. Then next season, try recruit well in the summer and try and challenge for European sport, whether it be Europa League and whatnot. Because when I asked Moyes in the press conference, what he plans to do in January, if he wants to recruit a lot of players, sign squad players, 13 regulars, he was saying he wants to do his business in the summer. He's mainly focusing in the summer. So that tells you where his mindset is set already. So let's say obviously West Ham do well. That's a great chance for West Ham to recruit, bring in more players. I mean, go for a big push next season. Because one thing a lot of people forget is that under Everton, when Moyes was in charge, we finished 4th. We finished 4th, I believe, during the 04-05 season. Now, let's say, there's no doubt he can do something similar to West Ham, but obviously gradually. It's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah, it took time with West Ham. I mean, Everton. It didn't happen overnight. And I remember that season because I think they got knocked out in the qualifiers against Villarreal. I think it was. So that Everton team was it was just so hard to beat, and they'd get the wins against you. They'd get results against the teams they should, and then they'd not lose against the teams above. And it was a very, very.
That Everton team is quite similar to the West Ham team. So
yes,
Souček is Fellaini.
Yeah.
Antonio is the better version of Yakubu. Leon Osman is the Mark Noble.
Yeah.
Declan Rice is the better version of like the Ross Barkley, the young talent that Moyes had. You got a reliable keeper in Fabianski who was the Tim Howard.
Yeah.
So very similar in terms of personnel.
Yeah, it is. And as you said, it's about the recruitment in the as Moyes said, in the summer. And maybe he's getting that recruitment in the summer because he's planning for it. He doesn't want to bring in something that sort of seems rushed because of the position you're in at the time, and which you can do. You can think too far ahead and think you might, but then that could ruin your chances of the players that you want to be getting in the summer. And if you plan for it, then that's what's important, man. It's getting that right recruitment.
West Ham having like an identity right now, it's going to help in terms of recruitment, because before like 4-3-3, 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1. You know, all different types of formation. Now West Ham have a fixed formation. It'll definitely help in terms of bringing in personnel. Previously, West Ham have signed players almost for the sake of it. People like Samuel Nasri, Simone Zaza, all sorts of flops, and they're obviously expensive flops, if I were to call it. So now Moyes is like, you know what? I want to bring in players I feel like will have a role to play, not players who are going to make up numbers. And it's reflection, it really is.
And like you said there, it's almost as if they brought in, maybe because they didn't have any identity, they didn't have a way of playing. They brought in players because the names and they look good on paper. Sami Nasri, you could maybe get the old Sami Nasri back, and it doesn't work for that reason because there's no structure, there's no position for that player when he finally does come in. So it doesn't make sense to bring in that sort of player.
And when you bring in someone like Nasri, it takes up a place that perhaps someone from the academy could play. That's and right now West Ham have a lot of good players in the academy. Like, I'm not saying it because I cover them. They're really talented, and we're seeing someone like Moyes giving them a chance, which wasn't really frequent under Pellegrini. So that's another reason why he's doing a good job.
Before I get onto the academy quickly, and that's the thing as well. You can, where previous managers have had that money to bring in the name player, Moyes is going to have that money in the summer to bring in. It doesn't necessarily have to be the name. It's just going to be, with Moyes, it's almost to be, it's the right player. And that's what's more important than the name.
And that's so important to bring in the right player. I was just thinking in terms of moving, you could, like, well, touching early on expensive items, I could buy like a £900 trainer like a Balenciaga's, but it doesn't fit. And then I could buy a Nike and it fits perfectly. You don't have to go out and find something that's really expensive. And that's been Moyes' mantra, bringing in the right fit, and it will serve West Ham well. A case in point being Sebastian Haller. We all know he struggled to consistently do well at West Ham right now. He's getting a chance because Antonio's absence, and he's doing all right, but he's not the same player. It's not going to be a case where Haller's scoring 15 goals, 20 goals a season. It's just not going to happen, unfortunately. So West Ham would have learned from that and looking to bring in players who have an impact, like a Souček, like a Vladimir Kafal, like a Bowen, and hopefully like a Benrahma. Young players who have resale value. That's what you want.
Yeah. What you touched on the academy. What young players are you excited to come see through them?
Well, there's one player I'm really excited about, but he just had a rotten luck with injuries, and that's Nathan Holland. Every time he gets a bit of momentum, he keeps suffering injury. He won the young Hammer of the Year award last season. I'm thinking, you can push for a first team spot, and he suffered another hamstring injury. But one player, I'm like, listen, this guy is the real. He's young, but he's the real deal. His name is Raul Baptiste. He's 17, and oh my goodness.
Raul Baptiste. We did a thing on West Ham previously, and Nathan Holland was one name that came up. And Raul Baptiste.
He's 17. He's 17 right now. He recently turned 17. In fact, he signed his first pro deal about a month ago. He's at West Ham for another 4 years, if I'm not mistaken, and he's really good. Every time I watch this guy, I'm like, my goodness, you're 17. This is just ridiculous. He's a centre back. He's been labelled the next real Ferdinand. We all know, like, Reece Oxford was labelled the next real Ferdinand, and he struggled to live up to that sort of nickname. But when I'm watching Baptiste, I'm like, listen, this guy is good. He's just composing the ball. I remember I attended the youth team game about 6 weeks ago. It was Derby against West Ham, and West Ham on the attack, right? And I'm seeing Jamal Baptiste making a long bursting run going forward. I'm thinking, what on earth are you doing? You're centre back. And then Derby got possession back and he made the same run back in defense and he made the tackle to achieve possession. And I'm thinking, yeah, you're good. You're definitely, you have a bright future, my friend.
Yeah.
That's one name.
West Ham aren't short of West Ham. They've always been known to bring through a youngster, but it seems like it. I know you've got Dexter White. It does seem like it's been a bit few and far between. It's like, but I mean, what did happen to Reece Oxford? I heard that his ego was too big.
No, that wasn't the case. I interviewed him about a year ago. Flew out to Germany. I spoke to him, and he was like, "Listen, I just didn't take it serious after my debut. Pretty much, I didn't put any extra miles in. I didn't go to the gym often. I wasn't like staying behind training." And it's sort of the whole like attention sort of got the better of him. He sort of thought he made it, if I were to call it that. Yeah. And he just got complacent, and then it's just been downhill ever since. He's at Augsburg right now. He's not playing week in, week out. In my opinion, he needs to join another club and play week in, week out because he's young. He needs to be playing first team football. So it didn't work out for him, unfortunately. The best game I can think of is that performance against Arsenal. That's been his best match, really. And fortunately, he hasn't been able to like replicate similar performances since he's left.
All right, it's a shame. That is a shame. Roshane. Thank you very much for coming on.
No worries at all.
Good luck tomorrow against Aston Villa. Hopefully, you can get some redemption for Arsenal and give them a little bit of a shoe-in for us. Thank you very much for coming on.
No worries. Always enjoy being on. More than happy to come back in the future. So yeah.
Yeah, mate. Don't worry. There's a regular spot for you anytime, mate.
Brilliant.
Definitely, 100%.
All right, take care, man.
Take care, guys. All the rest.
Cheers for the time, mate.
He's tagging. Roshane is tagging out, and it's Jerome, the voice marks, tagging in. How you doing, Jerome?
Yeah, good. You all right, boys?
Right, Jerome.
Give us a little update on the Arsenal game. How did it go? How did it finish? Give everyone, any of the viewers who didn't watch it, the score, the final score.
Right. So there's still 10 minutes left. Basically, there was I don't know if you know, there was a very bad head injury with Raul. Yeah, you know about the head injury. So that's why they're still playing. So Arsenal losing 2-1 at the moment. They've been so poor. They've created a couple more chances than they normally do. But yeah, the all-round play's been pretty bad, to be honest. Wolves have played well. They got some really dangerous, exciting attacking players. That Neto's had a really good game. The winger.
Yeah, it's no surprise that Juventus are after him then.
Yeah, he looks really, really dangerous. Every time he gets the ball, he's sort of got Bellerin on toast.
Right.
Yeah, but we'll see. Look, still 10 minutes left. So.
Still 10 minutes left. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. All right. First of all, Jerome, we're going to start off with the Guardian Top 60. What you got for us this week?
Cool. So we've got a player from Ecuador this week, 17-year-old, that goes by the name of Anthony Valencia, not to be confused with Antonio Valencia from United. He's a left-footed winger, comfortable on either flank, very, very good sort of 1v1, very, very good 1v1 sort of winger, got explosive pace, and he's got, when he takes someone on and he loses it, he's got a really good work ethic in terms of sort of getting the ball back. Now, when he was only 16, he was a big part of their under-20, the Ecuador under-20 team that won the Copa Libertadores, who was playing sort of a few years above himself. Looks an excellent player, actually. So yeah, and Anthony Valencia. That's
not. I bet. And if you look up Anthony Valencia, I guarantee Antonio Valencia will pop up, and not Anthony Valencia. It's very hard to find. Very hard to find. So well done there, Jerome. Yeah. Who else you got for us then?
They're the main ones, really. I mean, I'll tell you who we've actually got. I don't know if you were going to talk about him later, but we'll talk about Jamal Musiala.
Okay, go on.
We can talk about him unless you want to save him till later.
Oh, go on. We'll save him till later.
All right, fine.
All right. Let's go with the transfer roundup then. All right. It's not gone away. It's still here, and it will be here to stay. Frankly, very much if it's up to me, because there'll always be transfer news, whether good, bad, or ugly. All right. So let's get started. Olivier Giroud is admitted that his lack of playing time at Chelsea is worrying, and he will look to leave if he doesn't get more game time or opportunities in the near future. As we said, West Ham are being linked with Olivier Giroud, and it looks like he could be off if he doesn't get more game time, because obviously he wants to get into the French squad. Tottenham forward Harry Kane has been named as one of Pep Guardiola's top targets for in the summer transfer window, according to The Independent. German outlet Bild say France centre-back Dele Upamecano will leave RB Leipzig in the summer, with Bayern Munich, Liverpool, and both Manchester clubs interested in signing him. We've got a little bit of news I'll tell you later on about Dele Upamecano. Former Barcelona and AC Milan midfielder Alan Halilovic has signed for Birmingham City. I'm going to look into this one as well, because this guy was at Barcelona and AC Milan, and he was at Heerenveen. There's meant to be a bit of a story behind his demise, as some would say, is why he's ended up at Birmingham City now. Everton are set to bid for Mainz striker Jean-Philippe Mata in January, according to who's that according to? I don't know. I think it was Bild again. Jerome, you had a little look at him. What's he saying?
Yeah, so this is a 23-year-old striker, Jean-Philippe Mateta, that moved to Mainz in 2018. And when he moved there, he became their most expensive signing for about 10 million euros. Uh-huh. Before he moved there, he played for a few teams in France, never really sort of hit the heights out there. He did play for the under-21s, though. So this season is where he's really sort of come to the fore. Last season, he only scored 3 league goals in the Bundesliga. But this season, he's had an unbelievable start. He's scored 10 goals in 10 in all competitions, 7 in 9 in the league. He's got excellent physical attributes to sort of bully defenders. He's 6'4". He's an absolute unit. He likens himself to Zlatan, but when I've looked at him, he looks a bit of a mix between sort of Emmanuel Adebayor and Peter Crouch. One of those where with Crouch, you look at him and you think he looks a bit, I don't know, a bit gangly maybe, but he's got like quite a few skills in his locker. It's sometimes weird seeing these tall centre forwards that have got a lot of tricks with the ball.
Us tall people don't just fall over our feet as soon as we reach 6 foot. You know, it's not don't go special.
Yeah, right. He seems to make like a lot of unselfish runs for the team. He's got quite a variety of finishes. When you look at the goals he scored this season, he's got all different types of goals, and he seems pretty cool in front of goal. Mm-hmm. So it might be one where he's done okay up until now, but this season is where he's really sort of kicked on.
So it looks like it'd be a good addition for Everton.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think
because they need something a little bit extra, like Calvert-Lewin. You don't want it to get to Calvert-Lewin where all the pressure's on him, and then
that's it.
He starts getting into his own head. You know how strikers get; they're a bit precious. So it's like, I think while the iron's hot, I think Everton need to get in someone else to give them another option.
Yeah, especially like Calvert-Lewin's a very good player. He started off the season really well, but just because he started it off so well doesn't mean that he's going to continue like that the whole season.
Exactly. All right. Thanks for that, Jerome. On loan, under 21 midfielder Matu Guendouzi says he's regained his confidence that he lost under Mikel Arteta. I mean, there's no harm in saying it, but I mean, Matu, it seems like you're pining for a bit of sympathy there. When I think it was more of a maturity thing, which is the reason why you may not have been in and amongst the squad in the end. So all right. Thank you very much for Telfoot for that interview. Steve, you've got a bit of news on Lionel Messi to Man City, is it?
Yeah, it's more of his the way his contract is sort of as it is. There's a lot of different stories out there on the way it's going to be worked out in January or the summer. So I'm going to let you know exactly how it is. What it is, the renewing Messi's contract is going to require, obviously massive financial resources, and obviously where he is at Barcelona, that's going to be a problem. I mean, especially adding to the fact that Messi, has also had a conversation where he wants to keep his salary the same. So added it to his salary to that doesn't put Barcelona in a very good position. What this time I've been told has been no less than it's £40 million a year is what Messi wants. He doesn't want no less than that. So unless Barcelona can give him that, then Messi is leaving. So as we just said, looking at the situation that we all know that Barcelona is in at the moment, I don't think you're going to see Messi at Barcelona come January or possibly the summer.
It's worrying though. With these candidates that they kind of. I don't know whether they try and second guess what the fans want and try and play into that to try and get their role in as president. But some of the things that you hear about, like potentially trying to get Messi to stay, or people trying to bring in Neymar when the club's in a state where they could be potentially be bankrupt, or they are in a state of bankruptcy at the moment, where they're asking players to take wage reductions. Like are they a bit lost with what to do like right now? Is it they can't move away from this Barcelona way, which they've adapted of just trying to buy in the top players and hope? It seems like they've got no plan.
They're finding it hard to come to terms which is reality with the Messi saga. It's simple. The simple fact is that he wants €40 million a year and he's not making no pay cut. That's it.
Asking Messi to take a pay cut.
Yeah, that's it in a nutshell. So unless Barcelona decide to keep his salary the same, of which then they've got to keep the whole squads the same, then I don't know. They're in an awful mess.
Yeah,
they are in an awful mess,
and they're also in denial. It seems like as well. They're in massive denial because the fans aren't so much. Because when I speak to some of my Barcelona friends, they're like they need to basically restart, and the nonsense that they're talking about certain players bringing in is never going to help the team.
But they're saying about the president coming in to talk to Messi to try and get him to stay. There's your two. That's what the president's got to do to keep him to stay. And I can't see that happening with that happening.
Yeah, that's crazy. Pep Guardiola. Chelsea. Will consider loaning England defender Fikayo Tomori in January on loan. Pep Guardiola wants Man City to sign Aston Villa midfielder Jack Grealish. We put out earlier on in the summer that the representatives of Man City had spoken to Jack Grealish, but they were just initial talks, just talk to the agent. Man City will meet with Isco's father, and agent says he wants to leave Real Madrid. And that he wants to try a new league. Dele Upamecano has held talks with Liverpool, and the talks are advanced as well. The deal that Liverpool have proposed to Upamecano is a 5-year deal, and the Merseyside club are willing to pay the release clause. We'll hear more on that as the window moves on. Probably more into the summer. This deal is likely to be.
It is the summer. It is definitely the summer.
It's the summer, that's when his release clause comes into play, isn't it?
Yeah, and then they're looking at Kabak in January.
Okay, they're looking at Kabak in January. Leeds have been offered Ricky Pugh as among a host of other clubs. That was in the Sport. Steve, you've got a little bit on Leeds as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, the last in the summer, Leeds were coming really close to signing Hodenosi, midfielder, Rodrigo de Paul. They, in the end, the bid was too much for them, and they had to literally pull away from it. The chairman now is being really careful with Leeds money, so they have to be really careful with just spilling out 35 million pound on one player. That's nothing. That's something that they're not prepared to do. But the good news for the Leeds player for them is that he wants to play in the Premiership, and he doesn't want to go to Juventus. But I don't think that's going to do a lot for the player, and I don't think that's going to do a lot for Leeds fans because of the price of the fee. So what's a more realistic bit of business would be to bring the 21-year-old from Barcelona, Puig, which is being talked. They're in talks now onto bringing him in on loan. Koeman's just not got him in his plans. He's only played him twice this season. His agent is in talks with Leeds, and they could have the player in January.
Okay, thanks for that, Steve. Thank you for that update. Arsenal are monitoring their former academy player Yunus Musa with Leeds, Everton, and Wolves all interested in the 17-year-old. Jerome, you had a little look at him. What's he saying?
Player. This is a player.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think he's actually 18 today.
Okay.
So he spent his youth, as you say, youth career at Arsenal, and he actually turned down a scholarship offer there when he was 16.
Oh.
Went to Valencia. Now he's one of their starting central midfielders. He was actually born in New York and played for the England youth teams up until he was 18. But then he chose to represent America, and he's got a couple of full senior caps for them.
Okay.
So when he went to Valencia, he initially played for their B team, but this season he's broken into the first team, and he looks unreal. I think Arsenal have cocked up here with this one. So this month he actually became their youngest non-Spanish goal scorer ever. He's got natural athleticism, quite stocky, powerful, excellent dribbling ability, burst from central midfield. He reminds me a little bit of Michael Essien, to be honest, the way he plays. Okay. Top prospect. And when you look at Arsenal's midfield now, you think this is someone they should have kept hold of, because considering the amount of players they offer contracts to, or he turned them down, but they should have signed this guy up. He looks superb.
All right, so they missed out on this one potentially. Could have messed up really.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Cheers for that, Jerome. Tottenham, bit of Tottenham news. Jose Mourinho, Lucas Moura, Dele Alli, and Eric Lamela are not in his plans. He's potentially looking to get rid of them. Steve, you got a bit of news on that?
Yeah, you've basically said it there, mate. Moura, Lamela will be moved on in January, or they want to be moved on. If not in the summer, they're just not getting game time. Moura was on the bench today. Just no plans, and what they're looking at is bringing in Leicester winger Damari Gray as replacement for them, but not in Mourinho's plan. Doesn't want him at the club, and maybe January or possibly the summer they will be moving on. And to be honest with you, I make him right. Really, I don't think the Tottenham are going to be losing much by moving these two players on. And by all accounts, Leicester winger Damari Gray, Leicester are gutted.
Yeah, but the thing is with Damari Gray, he's not really a player who seems to have pushed on since he got there. He came with a very highly rated. He was very highly regarded as a youngster, tricky winger, pace, had it all, everything to sort of step it up. And one of them players that they got from the Championship, but he's not pushed on. If you look at players like James Morrison, who's come from the Championship, Ben Chilwell, who's come from the Championship, they've pushed on and they've come in, if not after Damari Gray, and he hasn't he hasn't done anything even near to them. I don't know what that is, whether it's the player or he's just not in the right team, but he's just not there.
Well, it's funny you say that because the talking to the Leicester fans today. Well, two Leicester fans today. They as I say, they do like the player. They do like him. So they must have seen something, but they can't work out why Brendan Rodgers seems to keep having sort of this. When his name's been brought up or he's spoken about, it's sort of like this very, I don't like this bloke. He's doing something wrong and he's on the bench. And why do you keep asking me? So is he doing something, behind the scenes? Is he not doing it in training?
Well, I mean,
could possibly be.
He's been through 3 managers now, hasn't he?
Has he really? Is he?
I think so. Yeah. So it's hard to, and I'm not blaming the play. It just may be. I think I said it in the mine and Jerome's video the other day that sometimes these sorts of flary players they don't really seem to get the love until they've gone to maybe a smaller club and then shown what they can do there, and then people realise, oh, actually, no, this maverick player, we need to actually just bring him into our team, like the likes of Zaha, the likes of Mahrez, like they've had to take a step back to move forward. So maybe Damari Gray has to, but I there's a little bit of worry that he might not get the required game time that he needs to really get back on track at Tottenham, because I think he needs to go to a club where he is going to play week in, week out, and he's going to be the main man where they love him. Whereas I think at Tottenham he's going to be very much a squad player, and he's going to have to, when he gets his opportunity, take it straight away. And I don't know whether he's got that. So it's a tough one. But Tottenham are going to be getting them on a free, and it looks like he could be signing a pre-contract with Tottenham in January. So it's a very good signing from Tottenham, and they're buying. I mean, it's a very astute business from Daniel Levy once again to get a young England player with his sort of profile on a free transfer. Ajax are interested in signing Crystal Palace fullback Patrick Van Aanholt on a pre-contract in January. That's Football Insider. A little bit of a run of Arsenal news. Arsenal unlikely to loan out Nicolas Pepe after his red card against Leeds in the Times. I don't even know where these stories come from. Arsenal are going to loan out Nicolas Pepe. Like, is this Arsenal in a situation where they can loan out Nicolas Pepe? I mean, final score 2-1 to Wolves. Arsenal are not in a position to be loaning out one of their only outlets of creativity. I mean, over the last 2 seasons, Pepe's 20 goals, 20 assists, could contribute to 20 goals last season, which is more than, behind Aubameyang. It's one of the most behind Aubameyang. So Arsenal aren't looking to loan out or get Pepe off the books. I think they're just looking to get the best out of Pepe. And
it's just a story. People have jumped on it because of what he did the other day. They've had a look on social media. They've probably seen a few Arsenal fans have a little moan saying get out of the club, and they thought, hold on a minute, we'll just whack that in the paper.
And that's nonsense. Get out of the club for one mistake. Look, we all react in certain ways, but what the geezer, it was a mistake. Look, he's learned from it, and look, if anyone watched the Mould game, and it's very easy to say, this is poor opposition, and he's expected to do it. But if you watched the games previously against Dundalk, Mould the first time, Pepe didn't have that sort of same energy against these lesser teams. It feels like he wanted to show something against Mould the other day, and hopefully he can carry that on when he comes back. Do you think, boy? Can I ask you both? I mean, do you think he's like a player, above the others, but he's just in a poor team, and that's why he's getting his way he is, why he's acting the way he is, why he's getting frustrated the way he is. I can't say I agree with you there. I don't think Arsenal playing to his strengths. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
and I can't say he'd be frustrated because he might be looking around and thinking I'm better than this, but I think he could be getting frustrated because, like as I just alluded to, maybe they're not getting him as a player what he needs as a player, where he runs and makes his runs, and that will come with getting game time. But again, it works both ways. When you are getting that game time, you have to take the instructions of the manager. You have to be clinical in when you get into positions. You can't be going this way, that way, looking good, and then no end product. It needs to be more consistent because you've got that in your locker. And the other day, it seemed like in a game where you could quite easily twist, turn, rip everyone and make everyone look stupid, he was a lot more direct. He was a lot more like, I can't remember what I said it to you. It was a lot more like Salah. It was like, I'm going to put it on my left foot and you know where I'm going to go, but I don't think you're going to be able to stop me. It was that kind of attitude. Whereas before it would seem like he wants to just twist, turn, trick, cut back, flick. Whereas now it's like, get the ball, run. Get the ball, run. Get it onto my left foot and shoot. Get it onto my left foot and cross.
Yeah. He was more aggressive in his play, wasn't he?
Very aggressive. It was a lot more aggressive. And that's what you want. You want him to run with the ball aggressively. And that's what you want. I think that was more impressive.
He's been playing like the kid in the playground. You know when you're playing in the rubbish team, when you get the ball and you feel like I've got to beat 3 players, I've got to try and do it all myself. That's exactly how I feel like what he's trying to do. Because he's looking at everybody else. He says, well, I'll give it. Aubameyang is even looking at it thinking, well, you're off form. If I give it to you, you're not in form. You're not going to score. And then after that, then where'd you go? So he's probably thinking, well, I've got to try and take it myself. And to be fair, a few times he has, hasn't he? A few times he has. Against Mould, it had been very easy for him to get his head down after missing a few chances, but he didn't. It was almost like, nah, this one's going in. Nah, this one's going in. And then he was put a cross in. Oh, no, I'm going to have another shot now. And it was so close every time. And you know he can do that. And if he can carry on that, what I was more impressed by the other day was, as Jerome just said, his running was so aggressive and so direct. It was completely different to what he's been used to doing. Previously, he was doing too many cuts and turns and swivels, and like it looks pretty, but there's no end product to it. But if you're just going to run at a defender, is he doing that? Is there too many twists? Is there too many turns? Because when he gets to that point where he wants to lay the ball off or get it to someone, that person ain't there, or that person ain't made that run, so then he has to come back. I mean, we've all played football. And I've done it when you've gone to run with a ball and you think, right, and then you go, there's no one there. So you have to come back and you have to do it again.
Yeah, I would think that if I didn't see the player standing there and screaming for it and getting frustrated, and then Pepe looks up and goes, like Pepe does with his like very nonchalant look. So I don't think it's that. I think at first it's very much he was trying to impress, and people don't know his game. He doesn't know the Arsenal game. He's settled a bit more now, and it's just about time that he gets a nice run so he can prove himself, and then people can have their critics because he's been there. Would have been there a year now. If he gets a nice run, there's a player in there. There's a player there, and I think the other day was the first time you saw for a full duration of him being on what he can do. There wasn't glimpses. There wasn't this. There wasn't that. It was this is what he can do. He's full Arsenal, no pun intended, and it was excellent to watch. So yeah. Very good, very good. Arsenal held talks in the summer with Southampton striker Danny Ings, and likely to revisit talks come the summer. Start with
I'll have that all day long.
All right, starting Jerome, but Steve jumped in, got his 2 pence worth. I'll come back to you in a minute, Steve. Come back to you in a minute.
No.
Yeah, I'll come back to you in a
second.
second.
Go on, Steve. All right, okay. Right, what do I think of Danny Ings? Basically?
Go on, talk to me.
I don't think you. Oh God, if you've just signed Aubameyang up to a £300,000 odd a week contract, I think you've got. I don't know, because I prefer seeing Aubameyang down the middle, and so if Danny Ings is going to come in, I don't know if he'd play, he'd probably sit on the bench. But I'd rather have Danny Ings in the squad than say Lacazette or Nketiah. I don't know how much he probably would have cost a fair sum.
How did Aubameyang get on today through the middle?
No good. The thing is Aubameyang. I think Aubameyang, just since he's been at Arsenal, is one of those players where he's not going to play amazingly for the whole game. It'll just be the case where he'll score a goal, score a couple of goals, but his all-round general play isn't fantastic. Just if you was to watch every second of his Arsenal career so far, you're not going to be looking there thinking, "Wow, he's done this well." It's just he'll score goals. He's a goal scorer. So he didn't score today. His all-round play wasn't great. Obviously, at the moment, he's not getting a lot of he's not having a lot of attempts on goal because we're not really creating. Arsenal aren't creating anything. So he had a poor game. He had a game where that's a 40 grand a week striker, not a 300 grand a week striker.
But I think that may be the argument for these managers that are playing him on the left. Are they getting more out of him by playing him on the left rather than in playing in the middle? And you're not getting someone that's going to draw people into the game. He's not going to create something out of nothing from dropping deep and then popping off into the box. Maybe that's what they were looking for.
It's fun actually having this sort of, you can call it argument with some of my mates that are literally at the moment about Aubameyang, whether he's a centre forward, what he is. For me, he's an out-and-out centre forward. It's just that he's in a team at the moment that is absolutely horrific. And when you're a centre forward in a very poor team, just by nature of that, you're not going to get a lot of chances, so you're not going to score a lot of goals, so you're not going to get the limelight, and you're not going to look like a 50, 60, 70 million pound player. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure when he was at Dortmund, I'm sure he wasn't having 100 touches a game, taking players on. He was just scoring lots of goals.
Yeah.
So I think through no fault of his own, although obviously when he gets the ball, he can do better things with it. But I think out of percentage-wise, maybe 10% is his fault and 90% is the fact that he's in a very poor team at the moment.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Steve, Danny Ings, what are you saying?
Yeah, I mean, I'd take him all day long. Jerome's right. He'd probably come in, and sit on the bench. But I think he's one of these players who'd be happy with that. I think he's a fighter, and I mean, if it comes to the choice of having him or Lacazette or, like Jerome said, Eddie, I just think it's a total no-brainer. I mean, I think after today, Lacazette not playing, I think he's going. I think if he's not going in January, then he's got to go in the summer. I mean, he's got to. He's got to. Is that a reason why Aubameyang's not on form? As I said, it could be another 5% of the reason why he's not doing what he's doing. But again, Jerome's right. What he said, 90% of it is because we've got a very, very poor team, and we're expecting players to do things that they can't do. We haven't got players in the midfield who can
get that ball and run with it and create something.
I mean, Ceballos, we said it before, he does it once in a blue moon. He runs around a lot, and he works hard. Yeah. Xhaka, he's not that player. He's something. He's not there to make goals or flair or put through balls in. So that's him out. And who else is there? I don't know. You got Thomas Partey. I mean, he hasn't even got going yet, has he? Maybe if he comes back, he'd be a different thing. But
I don't think there's that. There's not. I mean, there's younger players in that squad that are that type of player, but there's no one of experience in the squad that's that player that's getting goals from midfield or creating chances to get goals for the strikers from midfield, which it seems madness that Arsenal, if 10 years ago I would have told you that Arsenal haven't got a creative midfielder in their team, you'd have laughed at me. If 5 years ago I'd have told you that Arsenal have not got someone in the team that can score goals from midfield or create chances from midfield, you'd laugh at me, because that's all Arsenal had. They had soft players who couldn't when it mattered get stuck in, but on their day could play football like Brazil or Barcelona. But now we're a bunch of heffalumps, and we're chasing shadows and we're all over the place.
Yeah, even when Arsenal were getting, say, bullied by some teams, people always used to say, and some of like the pundits on TV, "Oh, you'd pay to watch Arsenal," you know.
Yeah.
But now, at the moment, you'd probably pay not to watch Arsenal.
Well, yeah, I didn't.
Yeah.
I still tried to look at it on my phone, and just it was just painful.
I mean, Arteta, right? I mean, I like him. I think he's going to be a good coach, right? But Arsenal supporters now don't have a go at him, because he's not going to turn that team around.
True.
There is no way he's going to turn that team around unless he is given backing and he is given cash. Like in some, and I'm sorry that football's gone this way, but it's because it's it's sad. But unless Arsenal are given a massive amount of money, then Arsenal will be like this for the next 10 years.
But
we won't be changing.
But Steve, it can't be. It can't. It also can't be. It can't be a 2 players here, a 1 player in a January, and then maybe next summer we've got, because by then you're mid-table team. By then you no one wants to join you, because they know actually Arsenal have been out of it for a bit too long now. I'm not too sure I want to join a team that I've got. We're getting to that stage. This is make or break. Summer has to be the last big recruitment, and I mean big, and it needs to be. It needs to be, yes, okay, the time is going to be brilliant because the likes of Mustafi's not getting a new contract, so he's gone. Socrates, Kolasinac will be gone by the end of the season. There'd be other players that would be out of contract, or Mesut Ozil's contracts will be done. So there's no excuses there when you're talking about money, But again, I reiterate it can't be a 2-head. It needs to be big. The summer recruitment needs to be massive. And
it's been like that for the last 10 years. It's been like that for the afternoon. And Arsenal fans get fooled. They think one year it's Sanchez, the next year Ozil, and then we're going to win the Champions League. We're going to go for the Challenger. This year it's Partey. We're going to get to. But
the problem is all their previous years, Steve.
You need 5.
Yeah. The problem is those previous years is we just did that. We just got the 1, and then when it was time to get the extra 2. We just got in Petr Cech, or we just got in, or we didn't get in Higuain, or we didn't get in a Suarez. Like it's always the same. And now it just seems like there's a carrot being dangled, and I ain't ever gonna get to eat it. Like I need to see big recruitment next year, and no excuse. Like I'm willing to take a seat this season where it's gonna be a slog. Like I'm expecting these kind of results. Steve said it the other day. Arsenal are in the Europa League. You have to expect results that you win on Thursday, you draw on Sunday. You win on Thursday, you lose on Sunday. You win on Thursday, you scrape a win against the bottom half team on a Sunday. It's going to happen. It's all over the place. But the end goal has to be European qualification, preferably Champions League, because again, it ain't going to be too long until these top players that people still think Arsenal can get are going to be looking at Arsenal going, well, I don't want to play Europa League. I'm getting Leicester in the Champions League for the 3rd year running, and I'd rather go to them. So you've got to be wary of them sorts of things. Everton are in the Champions League now, and they're looking to really spend. They've got James Rodriguez. And they're the worrying things that Arsenal needs to look at. It's not.
Who was up front today, Jerome? Sorry.
Aubameyang was down the middle, and you had Saka to the left and Willian to the right. See,
William, right? Okay. See, William's a good player, but he ain't going to get you into the Champions League. He ain't going to take you up to that next level. You know, he's becoming towards the end of the career. He's a good player. Saka shouldn't even be playing.
Yeah,
Saka should be sitting on the bench, looking at someone else and coming on for the last 20 minutes and learning the game off of someone else.
If
and
Saka
everybody goes, Saka's great. Saka's this. Saka's going to win us. Saka's going to take us to Champions League. Saka ain't going to do nothing.
Yeah.
Saka ain't going to do nothing.
So one thing that is madness amongst I don't know whether it's just the Arsenal fan base, but it can't be. It can't be. But I put out the other day that Arsenal had held talks previously with Danny Ings. Yeah, one of the people turned around and said, "He's just coming up to his peak. There's no point in buying him." Now, what kind of nonsense kind of response is that? That there's no point in buying a player that's coming up to his peak, yeah? Because what? Because there's no sell-on value. Because what? What were you? Are the owner of the club? Do you not want success
positions.
What
Positions.
what kind of nonsense is that? Certain
Certain
positions need
positions.
experienced heads. You
Exactly.
don't buy a 22-year-old goalkeeper because you buy a 28-year-old goalkeeper because he's there now, he's ready now. You don't buy an 18-year-old centre back to go in the squad. There's a little hint there. You don't buy an 18-year-old French centre back to go in the squad for an Arsenal centre back straight away. You don't do that.
He's our main centre back. He shouldn't be our main centre back.
22-year-old French centre back, Brazilian centre back we got in. That's base. That's bottom level. That is the bottom level age you should be going to, and that's even young there. He should be having someone that he's looking at. Where he's the main man now.
Fans laughed.
He's the main man now.
When they bought Cavani.
Oh yeah, that was
when they got Cavani.
So go back to that. I think it was last week before. I couldn't believe it when Simon turned around and said, "Yeah, Man United only bought Cavani because they didn't get Sancho," and I just had to stop him in his tracks. I was like, "Side, just stop." Cavani and Sancho are two completely different players. Man United needed a focal point, a target man, and they went out and got an experienced one. Yes, the geezer's 35 plus, but was he not scoring goals last season for Paris Saint-Germain or the season before? Like,
33. It's 33.
33. So it's nonsense. It's nonsense. It's the sound bites. Everyone loves a sound bite. It's nonsense. And look what they got with Cavani. They got a geezer who knows, been there, seen it, done it. Been in every position around the box. Will just have to look down at his feet and he know where he is. That kind of striker. Whereas an 18-year-old ain't getting that. This is what you buy when you buy players in their peak. That. Arsenal bought Aubameyang in his peak, and look what you got. And you're talking about not buying another striker in his peak. Come on, people. Bloody hell. Bloody Nora. All right, next one.
That felt good. That felt good.
They did. I tell you what, we need to do an Arsenal one because there's a lot of pent-up aggression right now. Jack's another talking point. Jack Wilshere spoke the other day about
back.
About the opportunity of rejoining Arsenal, and his words were, "You never know." We did actually get some information on this. That the reason probably why he's speaking is because his agent actually reached out to Arsenal when they put a proposal that he'd pay a pay-as-you-play kind of contract, which is probably why he said you never know. Those are the things you probably need to look into a little bit for. Why has Jack Wilshere said you never know? Because he's asked his agent to ask the question. Steve, we put it out there the other day. Would you bring Jack Wilshere back on a pay-as-you-play to the end of the season? You firmly said no. Reasons why?
Pay as you play. I think we need better than Jack Wilshere. We need different. We need to go in a different direction. If we're going to start bringing players back that have been there before, and it's all right saying pay as you play, but even if you're going to do that, it's still not going to do. You go good if you're sitting in the squad, is it? And there's someone there who's not going to be playing. So he plays in that midfield area. And no, I want Arsenal to go forward now. I don't want Arsenal to go backwards. I want Arsenal to start, looking in the right, looking at the right players. I mean, to bring Jack Wilshere back to me just screams of like desperate.
Are they not desperate? Are they not desperate right now?
Yeah, but that would be double desperate, wouldn't it? And I don't mean that on Jack. I don't mean to say Jack's a bad player, but we're talking about going forward, and I don't think Arteta for 1 minute would think about bringing Jack Wilshere back.
Jerome, what are you saying on Jack Wilshere?
Nah, not for me. I'm afraid. He's obviously every Arsenal fan loves him as a person, but he'll play a game. He's too injury prone. Arsenal have got to be moving away from these short-term fixes, like when you're signing I don't know, players that are like, I know he's not, but players that are like right at the end of their careers that are cheap, will bring him in. They got to start moving. That's one of the issues that have got Arsenal in the mess they're in at the moment. All these little short-term fixes, they very rarely work. And bringing in Wilshere would be the same.
Do you think, Jerome? Do you think bringing William in was the right thing to do?
Oh, no, I know we done a sort of a mini show about the free transfers that were available in the summer, and out of those ones that were available, then I said William would have been the better one out of the others, but the others were like Ryan Fraser and a couple of others. But
yeah, I remember. Yeah,
but no, I think if you want to seriously challenge, then you got to be. You can't buy other, the scraps from sort of other teams. There's a reason they didn't give him a 3-year contract, and I understand it's a new team and maybe it takes a few games to settle and stuff, but not 10, 11, 12 games is too much.
See what I'd say about William, and I think like because William's had a lot of pelters, yeah, and it's very easy to, because bar like the first couple of games, he's been like a 6. But Arsenal have been a 6. Arsenal have been a 5, a 6. Arsenal have not been ticking at all, in anywhere. The only thing that's been ticking at Arsenal is the odd cameo from a player. So to turn around and have William get a lot of pelters. This is just a general, because I mean, there's people that out there that are just like, as soon as William names on the team sheet, it's like, oh God, are you having a laugh? Why don't you play Reece? Well, I watched Reece over the last 2 seasons, and he ain't put a corner past the front post.
Yeah. Same again today when he came on. I'll tell you, with William, I'd have been okay with it if he would have been a squad player.
Yeah,
but to be a regular to be a first team starter,
it leaves you with not a lot of hope. But I mean, this is the team we support now, mate. Like, there's not a lot of hope, because, as I said earlier, there's a carrot that gets dangled every now and again. The carrot gets taken away because you just end up getting a sword and cutting it off and saying, I ain't eating that. It's rotten and there's nothing at the end of it anymore, and I'm sick of this rubbish that I'm being fed. And then you get another new, fresh, shiny carrot, and you're like, do you know what? Things might have changed a little bit, but I need to see that. Like, I'm giving it to the summer. I really am. I'm giving it to the summer to see if they're gonna change that, and I need to see that in the summer. If there's no buys in the summer, I'm going down with my pitchfork and lantern, mate, and I'm done. I'm seriously done. I'm supporting Charlton.
I'll tell you what's worrying at the moment is if William begins next season as one of Arsenal's first choice wingers, then there's a big problem.
Yeah, because there's no progression, and the reason that William was probably bought for, to be that stable head, to be that experience in a squad, which we have to remember, we're looking to completely change. We're looking to get rid of the likes of, in the next 2 years, the likes of Mustafi's gone, Socrates is gone. Who else has gone? Kolasinac would have gone. Like these experienced heads in the team, there would be no more. So your oldest players are going to be like 25, 26. So you need to have that older head in there that's been there and done it. And William's been there and done it. He's been in the Champions Leagues. He's been in World Cups. He's been there. So you've got that in the squad still. But if he's the main man, in the positions, I totally agree. It's going to be massively disheartening. Yeah. And that's not any slight on William. I feel William is built there for more than just one purpose than to play there. I feel like he's been built there for his experience. Because, as I said, we're going to be losing a lot of that. And although people don't rate the likes of Mustafi and these players can tell you mistakes that they've made previously, or teach youngsters the way. Like it's, and we've been there before where we got rid of all our older heads and experienced heads, and we were left with nothing. And we had kids running the team and kids in the training grounds. So when the older players came back, they were like, "What's going on with the team? There's those kids here and they're pissed round." And that's the problem with Arsenal.
Saka played today, didn't he? Saka.
Yeah.
And Willock played today.
Willock started. Yeah, I think he played the whole game. Willock.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, and how's anyone going to tell me? How's anyone going to tell me? Yeah, that Mikel Arteta can't sort this team out. Mikel Arteta is over his head when his options are Joe Willock. And it sounds horrible saying these things because these are good players. These have got potential to be good players, squad players for Arsenal, and good players in other teams. But when you've got to fill up a team of Joe Willock and you're talking about Reece Nelson, this team's not going to get you top 4. This team ain't going to get you top 6.
Yeah, no chance.
Because they're not ready to be the players to bring you top 4 and top 6. And Unai Emery had these players as well. Unai Emery was looking at Joe Willock and going, "Do you know what? Joe Willock's the guy, man. Joe Willock needs to come in the team." And that was Unai Emery saying that as well. Now,
but they keep popping up, don't they? They keep popping up. Reece Nelson keeps popping up. Joe Willock keeps popping up.
But why is that? Because the first option, they get there and they're like, "Oh God, this isn't working. This is
the three best kids are not playing. The 3 best kids we've got are not playing. That's Gabriel Martinelli, Emil Smith-Rowe, and one I've just totally forgotten, Balogun. They're the 3 that I would like to see on the bench or at least playing, one of them. Yeah,
well, Martinelli's just come back from a bad injury. Emil Smith-Rowe came on the other day as a sub. It's kind of surprising that he's coming on at the same time as Balogun, although I suppose he wasn't there in the team last year. But Emil Smith-Rowe was like the first one to come on the scene after. I suppose it was after Reece Nelson, but he's been on the scene for a couple of years now, and it's not worrying because he's still very young, but he's a player that excites. He creates stuff. He's very direct. You'd be expecting to see a little bit more of that. So it's a bit of a.
But I think once you cut it all down, I think what we've got to look at, we've just got to, as mad as it sounds, we've really got to take these type of results that they're going to happen this season.
Yeah,
and we could end up anywhere. But what we've got to look at is that when it gets to the summer, that money, if there's no money spent, then I don't know.
Look,
like you said, we'll keep Ben Charlton with you.
I think that the Athletic interview the other day with Gunner Blog. I think that all these things that are coming out are done for a reason. They're PR, very much PR things. There's reasons why you're hearing the way that Kroenke's work. There's reasons why you're hearing why Stan Kroenke knows things and he won't be suffered fools, and he does have a really interest in Arsenal is his gem, because it's like a message to say something's coming. We weren't going to do anything while we weren't under full ownership, while Usmanov still had shares. There was no way that KSE was going to take that debt while Usmanov still had shares, because it wouldn't make sense. But I won't be suffered a fool. And if at the end of the season, like I said, I'm willing to be patient this season. But if the end of the season and the summer comes and Arsenal haven't bought and made it and bought with real intent, and I'm talking not just players in the squad, like a big, beefy squad with different players, then I'm going to lose it. I'm going to turn into a ranting idiot because I can't have this rubbish. I can't. But right now I can hack it. Right now I can take it. But if it gets to the end of the season when all the excuses, as you said, the Mesut Ozil's wages, Mustafi's wages, Kolasinac wages, all these wages, and let's not forget about Lacazette. Lacazette's a key component as to the reason why Arsenal aren't able to bring in an attacking player in that position. Because if Lacazette was on less money, or his contract was coming up to the end of the season as well, I think Arsenal would have bought a replacement for him already and would have just had him in the squad. Because I just don't think that Mikel Arteta fancies him anymore. And if you look at Lacazette, he don't fancy himself anymore. I watched him play against Mould the other day, and he was hiding. I didn't want to say he was hiding, but he was hiding. Look, when your striker, who is dying to score a goal, is dropping in deep into midfield, and okay, you can say he's got instructions from the manager, but I don't care. Because once you get onto the pitch, that's what you do. And if you want to score goals, you'll score goals. And Lacazette was not getting into positions where he was scoring goals or wanted to score goals. Eddie Nketiah was. And again, you'll say that Eddie Nketiah was asked to play in that position. But Eddie Nketiah found that in positions. The only shot really Lacazette got off was the one on the edge of the area. And Nketiah was a good save, but Balogun came on and scored within 2 minutes.
When you watch a match and you can name the individual shots the strikers have had, that's not a good sign. Is it?
Jerome, when you're watching a match, and Reece Nelson is looking more lively and more of an impact in the game than you are, that's a worry for me. And you're meant to be the 180 grand a week top striker, national striker. That's a worry for me. That shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
So it's no wonder that Lacazette knows his time's done. That's why he's looking. That's why he looks like an empty shell of a man. I do feel sorry for him, but you need to score goals, mate, and you need to bring in a better performance than just to tap in and then disappearing for a game. We got Aubameyang there that could do that. They could do nothing for a game, score a goal, score 2 vital goals, but we can't have Lacazette and Aubameyang doing that same thing. So that's no good. That's no good. So the wonder got dropped. Dominic Szoboszlai, we put it out the other day. Not really much more of an update. As we said, it's out of Leipzig and Arsenal. We've got news that Arsenal were willing to pay the release clause, but Arsenal need to do that. It's all just a waiting game on that one. But as we were told previously with Thomas Partey, one that Arsenal were going to pay the release clause. We've been told that Arsenal pay the release clause on this one, but I just worry about Red Bull, Leipzig getting a deal in before they've agreed a deal, and if they've agreed a deal, they'd be willing to pay it. So, come towards the end of December, we'll find out more on that deal.
But one thing, even with Szoboszlai, I mean, we've all waxed lyrical recently about him.
Yeah.
I don't think he's the type of player Arsenal need, or we need him and another. I mean, I'd get more excited over what's the other guy from Leipzig? Sabitzer.
Oh, yeah.
He does
because he's very dynamic. He's very
dynamic. He scores
goals.
The ball, he makes goals.
Yeah. But Tottenham
and he's about 25, 26.
Yeah.
And he's already.
The thing is with Szoboszlai, I think it's a bit too much to ask for him to come in now and change Arsenal's fortunes.
Exactly.
For a 19-year-old.
Yeah, exactly. We need a 24 or 25, like Partey, who's just going to come 2 or 3 of them.
The Lille guy, the guy at Lille, he's been there. He's been in the Turkish leagues. And people dismiss the Turkish leagues, but come on, man. Man United got beat the other week by Istanbul, and you got to respect some of these leagues. Like they might not be the quality all round, but they bring something different. Turkish leagues, very very tough leagues to play in, man. So I wouldn't dismiss that. Some good players there. Chelsea have already held talks with Thiago Silva about extending his deal. Juventus are looking at the possibility of signing FC Dallas defender Brian Reynolds. Jerome, you had a little look at him. What's he saying?
Yeah, he's a right back, 19. As you said, plays for FC Dallas in America, and he's played for the US youth teams. He made his MLS debut for them last year, and but has really broke into the team this season. His old man, his dad, actually played for a couple of teams in Ireland back in the day.
Cork, Galway.
They weren't names I've heard of, so I don't think it was a fantastic level.
But,
yeah. So, what he is, he's a right back, but he's 6'3", so
wow.
he looks like he's a centre back playing at right back. And even stranger, I would say his strength is going forward, not so much defensively. He plays a lot of 1-2s. He's known for having like an excellent delivery into the box, excellent crossover ball. He does say that his goal is to play in Europe, but I guess a lot of people that play out in America probably, that's probably their goal if they want to, progress and develop and play for big teams. So yeah, I'd say defensively he looks a bit. If he's sort of 1-against-1 in a wide position, being so tall, it's when sometimes centre backs get dragged out to full-back areas, they don't sometimes handle it quite well. So that would be a bit of an area of concern is the defending 1v1s. But going forward, he looks like a real attacking threat, like a really good attacking option. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I mean, if it's one club you're going to go to sort of get some defensive stability, it's going to be an Italian club and Juventus, because they won't put him anywhere near the team if he ain't up to it defensively. They brought in Dele and he sat on the bench for half the season, which is mental. Steve, you got some news on Liverpool?
Yeah, I just a little bit on Liverpool. Nothing too major. We've already spoke about Upamecano. We've already spoke about Kabak, that they're going to be looking for Kabak in January. Upamecano's more towards the summer. Coutinho's come out this week and said that he would like to go back to Anfield. His agent has turned around and said no chance, he don't want to go back to Anfield. So I don't know what that's about. That seems to be playing good cop, bad cop.
It's one thing wanting to go back to Anfield, but is there a space for you? Is there a space? I mean, there's not a space.
Not really.
And they're moving forward, and we'll give a bit of news in a minute about what they're moving forward to look forward to. But Liverpool are definitely moving forward when it comes to it comes to the likes of their forward line.
Yeah, I mean, Liverpool have also, it's been said that they was dealt a blow, according to Jurgen Klopp, that Chelsea were going to be talking to David Alaba in January, which I couldn't really understand, because I couldn't work out where the blow thing come from, because David Alaba doesn't want to play centre back. So I don't know where the Liverpool thing comes in, unless he's decided that now he does want to play centre back, which sort of goes with the Chelsea thing as well, because if he ended up going to Chelsea, I'm assuming that would be centre back as well. So
yeah,
Liverpool and Chelsea are both sort of centre back positions. So he may very well have changed his mind.
Has the Man City called? Has the Man City interest called a little bit?
It's called. There's nothing recently on him.
Like are they not interested anymore? Are they fully happy with what they got? And because Yeah, I think last week we was talking about, weren't we, with Diaz and Laporte, and they've got Ake, and they've also got Ferdinand, and they've also got Rodrigo to slip into that centre back if for a left back as well though. So for David Alaba left back.
There's not. I mean, at the moment, Pep keeps coming out and saying, waxing lyrical about Cancelo and that the Russian guys not leaving. So to go and spend the money or the wages on Alaba, probably is not needed, and it certainly wasn't needed the weekend when they give Burnley a hiding.
Absolute hiding. Yeah.
But another one, just a quick one. Esquelia Gary, 34-year-old from Madrid. He's offered his services to Liverpool. I don't know what for, in what he's offered his service in what, but I dare say it's because of their defensive problems. But I think they're going to be sticking with Osman Kabak and Upamecano in the summer. That's where their main target will lie. And that's just a little bit on Liverpool, yeah.
All right, cheers for that, Steve. Eduardo Camavinga has sparked a war of super agents after breaking ties with his current representatives. Everton are monitoring 3 players, Paulo Gazzaniga, Dele Alli and Harry Winks of Tottenham. It's from Football Insider. Barcelona candidate Emily Roussard said that if elected, he'll sign 2 top players, one of them being Neymar. Mental. Tottenham want to sign Leicester winger Damari Gray on a free transfer. We spoke about it earlier. David Alaba has already held talks with Chelsea and will revisit talks in January. But his first choice is still Real Madrid. We put that story out early last week. Just a little bit of more information on top of that. Got from Steve earlier that they will be revisiting it in January. So all the papers that are saying that Chelsea are set to hold talks. David Alaba's already had talks with Chelsea and he's very happy with what they're offering. So I think it'll be a case of it'll be a bit of a bidding war for David Alaba when
cool. Can you imagine if they get him as well? Can you imagine if they get him?
Yeah, I mean, yes. So, yeah, it's trouble. Liverpool have been in contact for over the last months with Kylian Mbappe. Talks have gone well, and over a move in the summer, he's with his final destination wanting to be Real Madrid eventually. If you listen to the Transfer Window podcast, you'd have known that Mbappe is very, very smart and astute about his path and his career. He's refused to sign a new deal at PSG, which was going to leave him with a year left in his contract. So all the talk that you hear about PSG are going to do everything they can, sell Neymar to make sure they can keep Mbappe. Mbappe wants to leave PSG because he wants a new journey. He wants a new chapter in his story. It's not a case of sticking at PSG. He moved to PSG because it was good timing and good for his development. Staying in France, being at a top team where he could progress. Some people even say the fact that Neymar was there as well as him was another reason why he joined PSG, because by having Neymar there, it took that shine off him a little bit, so he could still be able to develop with some of the limelight going on to Neymar, and the fact that Real Madrid were in for him at the time, he felt that the move to Real Madrid there was too early. He's very interested in playing in the Premier League. He has a big desire to play in the Premier League. 3 clubs, I think, are of interest to him in the Premier League are Manchester City, Man United and Liverpool. Liverpool have reached out to his representatives and they've been speaking on and off over the last month or so. And, so we'll be keeping an eye on the situation because obviously Real Madrid very highly in demand of the striker himself. But he does have a desire to play in the Premier League to show that he can do it in multiple leagues. So, keep an eye out for the Kylian Mbappe news because I think it's going to be about timing for the right club to get him. But I wouldn't write off seeing Kylian Mbappe in the Premier League because with a year left in his contract, PSG can't ask for silly money, which is why he's refusing to sign a contract and he'd probably do the same thing at Liverpool. If he was to go to Liverpool, he'd probably sign his contract when he feels that it's the right time to move on. He'd probably say, "I'm not going to sign a new contract. You've got to sell me," which is you can't knock that. You can't knock that if he knows his path. He knows his path. Nicolas Tagliafico has signed an extension on his current contract at Ajax, which will keep him at the club until 2023. Marco Canna of Anderlecht says joining Liverpool would be a dream. Jerome, you had a little look at him. What's he saying?
Yeah, 18-year-old that plays for Anderlecht at the moment. He's a defensive midfielder. He can play centre back, but for me, he's 5'10". So I'd keep him in defensive midfield for the time being. He was born in Congo, but represents Belgium at youth team level. Now, his manager at the moment at Anderlecht is actually Vincent Kompany, and a lot of people have compared him to Kompany. If you remember, sort of Kompany, I think he actually started off in central midfield, and then he sort of moved to centre back. But for me, this guy is a stereotypical sort of holding central midfield player. And despite being only 18 in pre-season, Company actually gave him the armband during pre-season. He seems a very sensible footballer. Keep things simple, disciplined positionally, but can also play sort of some nice line breaking forward passes. The way he plays seems older than an 18-year-old.
Yeah, he's very mature for his age.
Yeah,
he's very good player. Very good player. Carlo Ancelotti says that Everton need to extend Director of Football Marcel Brand's contract amid interest from Manchester United. I think his contract ends at the end of this run. Ends at the end of the season. How weird is it that at the start of the transfer window, Steve, we was hearing a lot of Everton fans saying Marcel Brands is useless, he's this, he's that, he's this and that, and now all of a sudden, Man United are after him, and Carlo Ancelotti saying he needs to sign an extension. But at the time, I was thinking, I think you're being a bit harsh on Brands here, because this has got nothing to do with Brands. He's getting the players the manager's asking to get in. If them players don't do well, that's not his fault.
He's hitting the bullseye every time, like you said. The manager say this is why Ancelotti wants him to sign a new contract.
Yeah.
He knows that he's going up to Brands and he's saying to him, "Look, I want Doucouré, I want Allen, I want Rodriguez," and he's going bang, bang, bang. And he's gone, there you go, you got him, and they've got this relationship with them.
Yeah, but not just that, Steve. The deals that were previous, Gabriel is very much very close to joining Everton previously.
Close, yeah.
Everton Soares, another player, was very close to joining Everton, and these were all deals that were done by Brands. If it weren't for Napoli coming in and the COVID coming in, there's a chance that these players would have signed in January. So and Marcel Brands would have got them deals done then as well. So yeah, I think.
And you can't put Isco out the question, can you?
You can't put Isco out the question. You can't, because it almost seems that there's not too many clubs that are going in for him, and the clubs that are going in for him, there's nothing solid there. You know that Everton are looking, Arsenal are looking, but there's nothing really that you can say. Yeah, no, a move's being made. So.
See, I don't know what you boys think. See, we were just talking a minute ago. I don't want to keep going back to Arsenal because we'll be very quick with, I suppose, with this. With the Zablowski, with him coming in, I'd rather have Isco because he's done it. He's been there. He's been proven. He's if I had the choice, if Isco wants to come to the Premiership, I'd be saying, I'd be going, go and get him.
But Steve, I think you've been conditioned, mate, to be rather have when other teams are going by both. Because 25 million shouldn't, and especially at a 19-year-old who Real Madrid and Bayern Munich are both looking at, that shouldn't be a player that you should be worrying about. 25 million is a lot of money, because you should have the confidence that this player in 3-4 years' time is going to be a 75, 80 million pound player. What you need now is you need the Isco now to be the guy that he's trying to get out of the team, to be the guy that he can learn off, to be the guy that, do you know what I mean? Competition.
Yeah.
But when was the last time Arsenal did that? Arsenal haven't done that in years. They don't do that. And it's frustrating because you see other teams do it. You see other teams very bullish in the transfer market, going out and buying a couple of players for these positions. But Arsenal don't seem to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a sad situation.
Yeah. Did you have some news on Man City, or have you already dropped it, Steve?
No, just a quick bit of news on Man City. Man City, you're looking at two players in the January transfer window. I mean, to sort of not to take the place of Aguero, but because he's so injury prone, they're desperate for centre forwards, and also Jesus is just so inconsistent. As I mentioned last week, they're still in, and the more I talk to the City people this week, Darwin Núñez's name keeps coming up. So I can see something happening for him in January. He's 21, but last week you did say he's very raw. I did go and have a look at a few videos when you said that of him, and I watched him. I think you are exactly right. He is a bit raw. So I don't know if that would happen. There are rumours that Barcelona are after him as well, but I don't know where they're going to get the money to buy Darwin Núñez from. So, but the big one is, and this one I can sort of 90% say that he will be. There'll be talks in Jerry. Is Patson Daka. Patson Daka is someone Pep and Man City strongly want. I mean, this kid is exciting. This kid is really exciting. This season he's already scored 12 goals and 11 appearances for Salzburg, and he's just electric. And Pep's, it's just sort of said, go get him. This is the guy I want. I've also heard that for long term, the two players they want would be Haaland, and also I've been told Mbappe is someone that they want in the long term. Long
this
term,
is what I mean. So, sorry,
long term. I'm talking. Yeah, it's only quick. Long term, I'm talking the summer. But that will all depend on the management and COVID, where that obviously the bank balances.
There we go. So as I said earlier, Liverpool has held talks with Mbappe. I would strongly expect us to be getting some news that Mbappe has held talks with Man City as well. As I said, Man City, Liverpool, Man United are one of the teams that he's interested in. I think with Mbappe, it's very much. It's very commendable what he's doing, because he's right in his path, and he seems to want to go to teams because when I first heard it was Liverpool and Man United, and I was thinking Man United really, because they're not really in and amongst it at the moment, but it seems like he wants to go to the teams with a bit of the history as well. Man United, Liverpool, he wants the Real Madrid to finish, so he doesn't just want the big clubs, he wants the clubs which have been there and done it before, and he wants to be a part of that history as well. So, I mean, the more and more I hear about it, the more I rate it. So, yeah, I've got a lot of time for that, man.
The world's at his oyster, isn't they, really?
Yeah, it is. And if you're Mbappe, you can choose what clubs you want to go to. So, yeah, and if only Arsenal were in a position now where they had were a lot stronger, I'd fully expect to be on that list as well. But Arsenal are nowhere near it. Well done, Arsenal. Well done. You've just gone and ruined your chances of getting Mbappe. All right. Thank you very much for everyone tonight. Thank you very much to Roshane Thomas. Thank you very much for Nathan Ellington. Oh, yeah. Good having Roshane come on and ask Nathan some questions as well. Thank you very much for everyone who's tuned in. Let's go to the comment section. Oh yeah, tonight we've been on. Tonight, it's the first time we've been on YouTube and Twitter. Yay! Crowd's going wild.
I would have put some aftershave on or something a bit more. Brush me hair.
Well, just tell them that you have brushed your hair underneath your hat, Steve. So it's all good, mate. No one ever sees you. Oh, what? No!
Ah! See, look. I've got
the mystery. Look. It's the mystery. What have you done? What have you done, Steve? Shout out to Jonathan Cox. How you doing, Jonathan? Shout out to OMOE4. How you doing? Shout out to Simon Sheffield. Currently on lockdown or currently on isolation. Get well soon, someone, whoever. We'll see you soon, Si. Melvin, Marks, thank you very much, Melvin. Always.
Melvin.
All right. Yeah. Big shout out to everyone watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you share. Make sure, yeah. I'm just. Do you know what? This speaking about Arsenal's just stuck in my head now. It's just ruined me. Jesus. Anyway. We'll catch you next week. Hopefully we'll be doing a Barcelona special. If not, we'll keep you in touch with what we got. But we're going to be doing some big things coming up soon. Because near Christmas, we're going to be doing our best 11 of the Premier League so far, where we'll be putting our best 11 forward and then picking the best team. We'll each have a team of 11 and see who you pick. We're going to get the fans' voice involved as well. So everyone in the comment section, let us know who you think your best 11 should be. And maybe we'll pick one of them players instead of our own. And so hope you like the new look. It's nothing special. It's just minor touches. We're getting there. Anyway, thanks for watching. Peace out. Stay safe.